Unhappy with the High Court's verdict, Congress workers staged protest in Delhi, Patna and Chennai. The Congress says it will fight the battle both politically and legally.
If you think free, speak free, act free, you will be visited with the worst possible criminal, civil and other consequences. We have no doubt that this intersection of arrogance and infallibility shown by the government of the day and the ruling party of the day will be dealt with properly in the Supreme Court.
The BJP welcomed the Gujarat High Court verdict.
एक महान देशभक्त वीर सावरकर जिसने 11 साल अंडमान में गुजारे, उसके बारे में कितनी नफरत है उनके दिल में, ये समझिए आप। सावरकर के पोते ने भी एक केस किया है। वीर सावरकर को उन्होंने विदेश में भी अपमानित किया। तो अपमानित करना, बेइज्जत करना, एब्यूज करना राहुल गांधी की फितरत है।
The court verdict also exposed divisions within the opposition ranks, with Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao's party snubbing the Congress leader.
Who cares what Rahul Gandhi has to say? What do you think Rahul Gandhi is today? I'm asking you a straight question. Today Rahul Gandhi comes here and makes policy statements. In what capacity is he making the statement? Is he the president of Congress party? Is he the president of the Congress party in Telangana? Is he even a member of parliament? In what capacity is he making these announcements, and why should you take him seriously?
In March, Rahul Gandhi was convicted by a Surat court of defaming the Modi community in a remark he made at a rally in Karnataka ahead of the 2019 Lok Sabha elections.
एक छोटा सा सवाल, इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे।
Now Rahul Gandhi can move the Supreme Court seeking a stay on his conviction and jail sentence. Unless he gets relief from the top court, the Congress leader won't be able to fight the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
So what next for disqualified MP Rahul Gandhi? Let's take the question to our panelists this evening. Joining me is Prajata Sarangi, National Spokesperson and Lok Sabha MP, Bharatiya Janata Party. She'll be with us shortly. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, National Spokesperson, Congress. Rashid Kidwai, Senior Journalist. Mr. Mangalam, what's the next step? The Congress says they will fight this out politically and legally. Legally, not many options now. You'd have to approach the Supreme Court.
Legally, the logical next step is to approach the Supreme Court. I believe the legal team is getting ready for the same. Politically, I think the more we speak about what has happened and all the events that led up to Mr. Gandhi's conviction, as well as the context of the judgment that has come out, the contents of the judgment rather, people will make a decision on their own. I mean, I think the ultimate court here is the court of public opinion. And the more you see this sort of large conspiracy where BJP supporters, BJP office bearers from all over the country are filing defamation cases at the drop of a hat against Mr. Gandhi, you can tell that this is a concerted attempt at basically trying to throttle his voice. And that's because he has been the most vociferous and fearless voice in and outside of Parliament against the government.
But, you know, Mr. Mangalam, the question is, there was an opportunity for Mr. Rahul Gandhi, for someone who openly comes out and says he has absolutely no ego. If there was an apprehension that he offended a particular community, and he says he has he had absolutely no intention of. But if there was an apprehension, there was a window given to him to apologize, which he didn't.
Why should he apologize for something that he believes is not wrong and that we believe that he has done no wrong? I mean, the whole principle, the first precedent for a defamation case is that the individual who has been affected is the one who's actually supposed to file the case. And here you have this sort of amorphous, undefined body that has filed the case. You have no evidence of malice. You have no evidence of loss or suffering of the individuals concerned due to defamation. The fundamental precedents of criminal defamation have not been satisfied in the case. And you're asking him to apologize. You don't apologize when someone alleges or accuses you of something where you've done no wrong. So I don't see a reason why he has to apologize at all.
No, at that point of time, and I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai as well and Parajita Sarungi into this conversation. At that point of time, the intention was, if inadvertently he has hurt a certain community, in this case, possibly the OBC community represented by the surname Modi, then why not apologize and get on with it? He would not have invited the defamation in any case then, because there was a window for him to apologize. But Rashid Kidwai, before we cut across to go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Make your point.
No, I just want to let you know that if you go back to how this case even proceeded, the complainant himself got a stay on his complaint and waited a full year before the bench changed so he could get it in front of another magistrate and get a favorable verdict for himself. So you can see that there's an entire plan laid out on to convict him. I don't think any sort of apology in any sort of time frame would have stopped them from going ahead with what they wanted to do to begin with. This all happened, and was this entire case that was in abeyance was awakened only because of the speech that Mr. Gandhi made in Parliament exposing the Gautam Adani Modi nexus.
All right, I want to bring in Rashid Kidwai into this conversation. Rashid Kidwai, the sheer fact, of course, the legal team is going to go about its business, which is to now approach the Supreme Court, and in all possibility, keeping in mind the nature of the case, that in 162 years of the existence of the IPC, never has anyone been given a full term of 2 years for defamation or slander. In all probability, legal framework-wise, he should get reprieve at the Supreme Court level. That aside, Rashid Kidwai, the question is, the Congress working. Now, what is the thinking of the Congress? Because there clearly is an attempt to build Rahul Gandhi as an ideological figure and possibly less of a political figure going forward.
Yes, so I think, Preeti, the Congress has to make up its mind whether they want to fight this case as a legal battle or as a political level. If it's a political level, then Rahul has to suffer some kind of hardship, and it can be disqualification, it can be jail, it can be a mix of two, and then he can be a leader at large. He may not be a prime ministerial candidate, etc., and that can bring, there is a silver lining that can bring some kind of cohesiveness in the opposition unity, etc. But the problem is that what we are seeing repeatedly, Preeti, is that a mix of both. So every time there is a hearing, see, there is a distinction between how the courts operate. We can go on questioning them, and what is the kind of political conspiracy of it in kind of, entangling and framing of Rahul Gandhi. The Congress is not able to, explain this properly to the voter or to the masses. So there is element of confusion. Preeti, 2019, I remember when Lok Sabha elections were going on, and there was a case about, Rafale, and Rahul Gandhi had made some observation. Each time there was a polling day, and it would coincide. The Congress lawyers kept, kind of debating about whether the word should be, apology or regret or some kind of thing. Now, these are technicalities. So Congress should not get into technicalities if it wants to make a political battle out of this. The mixed approach is proving to be very costly for the Congress, because average voter, average viewer of your program cannot make a distinction. So they look, there is a setback by the court. So there must have something must have gone wrong. So there is a case between court and a political party, that being the BJP.
Well, there's a certain amount of truth in that, Rashid Kidwai, because ultimately, what is the messaging that is going on, that every time the court is turning down the plea of Rahul Gandhi, nobody really is getting into the semantics of the issue, Mr. Mangalam. But having said that, I want to bring in Parajita Sarangi as well into this conversation. Ms. Sarangi, do you not, as a Lok Sabha MP, as somebody who sits in the seat of a lawmaker, not find it odd that in 162 years of the IPC, madam, that never has any individual been given the full term when it comes down to slander or defamation?
A very good evening. At the outset, let me say that we, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and I'm sure a lot of people with the Bharatiya Janata Party, welcome the order of the Gujarat High Court. See, whatever has happened had to happen, because Rahul Gandhi is one person, and he is the member of parliament, let's not forget that, who has been behaving arrogantly and irresponsibly. Now, he has been a habitual offender, let's not forget that. There are 10 criminal cases against him, and many of them are defamation suits. Now, he has also spoken in a very, I would say, irresponsible manner about Veer Savarkar, and the grandson had to go to the Pune court. Now, why is it happening? He goes to London, he goes to Cambridge, and he starts talking against the leaders of our country. He starts talking about against the system here on a foreign land. Now,
What's
who
wrong
gave
with
him the
that?
authority?
Ms. Sarangi, what's
And
wrong with that? He's a leader of the opposition. It's well within his rights to criticize the government, be it on foreign soil or not. But my question is that you talk about over 10 defamation cases, but you also must have an understanding, Ms. Sarangi, that over these 10 defamation cases that you're talking about largely have been filed by BJP workers across the country. At one end, the BJP wants to make it seem that this is a legal process and that's what's going on, and Rahul Gandhi is paying the price of defamation and he has to face the full brunt of the law. On the other hand, it has been expedited also with multiple cases filed by our very own. So why shouldn't it look like vendetta, which is the question of the Congress here?
See, there is no question of vendetta. I fail to understand why should it be called vendetta on part of Bharatiya Janata Party or Modi government. See, here is a person who is all out to defame a particular community, bring down the image of a particular community, humiliate the community. And here is a spokesperson from the party. I'm appalled. He says he spoke what he felt. I mean, he cannot be allowed to feel and speak in this manner. Modi community is a very important community, a very important segment. And they are backward classes. Whichever class, a person or a group of persons in the country would be, I think we don't have the right to humiliate or defame. Now remember, the Rafale case, the Supreme Court gave a judgment which was not palatable to the Congress, and this gentleman again had the audacity to question the decision of the Supreme Court, and ultimately he had to apologize. So as I said, he is a habitual offender. This is highly irresponsible behavior, and then the law has to take its course. Now, nobody is above law, nobody is above...
Can I intervene for a minute?
Madam, the law has to take its course, but you know, the law would have taken its course in any case. And the question that is being raised is that the Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to draw maximum political mileage of it, with multiple cases of defamation being registered against Rahul Gandhi across the country, many of them by BJP leaders, multiple press conferences at the back of it. So, you know, there is a counter argument to that as well, which we'll come to. Mr. Mangalam, I want to bring you in, and I want to take off from what Mr. Kidwai also said. Here you have the spokesperson of the BJP who says that Rahul Gandhi is paying the price of defaming a particular community which belongs to the OBC with the name of Modi. Now, you can cry horse and say that Rahul Gandhi did not mean to insult the OBC community or the Modi community representing the OBCs. However, the messaging which is going down, and which possibly, as Mr. Kidwai is saying, that you're allowing to go down, could be counterproductive.
You know, I was trying to interrupt when Mr. Kidwai was talking as well, because I disagree with him. I'm a working president of Tamil Nadu Congress, and in my state, wherever I have gone to, whichever district I've gone also, the first question people ask me is, how could they do this to Rahul Gandhi? And what did he say that was so egregious? Nobody believes it. Anybody seen the speech, especially because Lalit Modi, etc., are not even part of the OBC community. But let's put that aside for a second, Preeti, because I want to bring out something that's very important in this judgment. We haven't gotten to the text of the judgment. It's a 125-page judgment that just was given to us about 3 o'clock or so. But in that particular judgment, there are a couple of very, very important points that I really want to make. You know, when this first happened, the BJP said all are equal under the law. I mean, the law will take its course. Mr. Gandhi, just because he's, you know, one of the preeminent leaders of the opposition, should not get any special treatment. In clause 45 in this judgment, and I'm going to read it out for the benefit of your viewers, it says, it appears that the accused is a member of parliament possessing high position in society and having bounden duty not to scandalize any person from the society. So he's being held in this judgment to a higher standard than an ordinary citizen. And the argument made is that under the facts and circumstances of the case committed by the accused falls in the category of moral turpitude. Now, I must, for the benefit of your viewers, tell you what Supreme Court defines as moral turpitude. There are only 3 kinds of crimes that fall under moral turpitude. Assault like rape, robbery, dacoity, or crimes against society like gambling, prostitution.
You know, Mr. Mangalam, that's the interpretation.
Can you believe that this court...
No, you know, sir, the fact is neither you or I can question the judgment of the learned judge. That is what the Delhi High Court, the Gujarat High Court.
We cannot, excuse me, I want to clarify. We can question the rationale of anything in any judgment. We cannot
Okay.
attribute nefarious motives to the judgment.
All right.
Let's be clear.
All right, okay, but are you attributing motive then to the judgment?
I'm not attributing
Okay.
motive. I'm merely saying, doesn't this logic sound bizarre?
Well, that's for the Supreme Court to decide now, and maybe take.
And I'm sure the Supreme Court will decide.
Yes, okay, that's for the Supreme Court to decide and take a view on that. But last two questions, Rashid Kidwai and Aparajita Sarangi. I want to bring you back into this conversation. Mr. Kidwai, do you see Rahul Gandhi milking this as possible sympathy, empathy, what like Mr. Mangalam says, maybe not milking, but he says there is empathy for Rahul Gandhi at the back of this happened? Or do you see this as possible confusion where the voter is concerned?
Well, I think, Preeti, we are a large country, and there is no single issue. So I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi may go on talking about it, and it will find traction among the Congress supporters, while there will be others who will be equally opposed to it. My problem is that consistency. If Mr. Rahul Gandhi wants to make a political case that his free speech is not being allowed, after all, public figures like Savarkar and Nehru are constantly criticized by both sides of the spectrum, and you don't go to court. I mean, there is no scope for criminal defamation in these kind of cases. But I am saying you cannot be fighting the courts and finding loopholes in a judgment. While I agree with Mr. Kumar Mangalam that there may be very big loopholes, but it is very difficult to tell the voter in political terms that courts and the BJP are on the same page. This is a very difficult thing to communicate. Therefore, I think Congress will be better off making a political case against the BJP or its political rivals, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi is spearheading that campaign. But when it goes to court and there is a adverse judicial pronouncement, where a lot of problem and grey area comes in, that is a real challenge for Rahul Gandhi.
All right, Aparajita Sarangi, once again, I'll ask you the question that I began with. The BJP keeps saying that Rahul Gandhi has to face the law. Plausible, understandable, but as somebody who is a lawmaker, madam, I'll ask you that question again. No matter who you criticize for defamation, 162 years of the IPC, Ms. Sarangi, and not once has anyone been held or given the maximum sentence of 2 years for defamation. Do you not find it odd?
If the judiciary is pronouncing judgment, if Gujarat High Court has pronounced judgment, please let me know, how is Modi government or how is Bharatiya Janata Party responsible? That's the question today. See, nobody is above constitution or the law of the land or the judiciary. The law will take its course. Now, how are we involved? This is one part. Number two, I would say that this particular case has traveled to 3 courts. Number one, the lower court, where the sentence had been pronounced and where he had been asked to apologize very candidly by the honorable judge at that point of time. And you know what he said? मैं माफी नहीं मांगूंगा क्योंकि मैं गांधी हूं, सावरकर नहीं. Now, what kind of statement is this? Puerile or intentional? Is it arrogance? Because he belongs to a particular privileged family?
But Ms. Sarangi, it could be neither puerile, nor tactical. It could just be factual. Because it did happen.
See, the point is, why should he bring Veer Savarkar there? And does he know who is Veer Savarkar? I still doubt whether he has seen the prison hole of Veer Savarkar in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Now, number two, the case goes to the session court. Now, the session court grants the bail, but there is no stay on the conviction. And now here is Gujarat High Court, which has not stayed the conviction. No, I think it was very simple. He would have apologized. Now here the spokespersons must not come out from the Congress and say that, Rahul Gandhi did what he thought it was right. I mean, this is absolutely...
A quick comment by Mr. Mangalam. Mr. Mangalam, do you get what Ms. Sarangi is also saying? Because multiple courts in Gujarat, drawing also from what Mr. Kidwai has said, has given a ruling. Now, yes, you're going to the Supreme Court. Possibly you will get reprieve, but the narrative would have already been set, for a fair while.
I mean, I think that's basically a subjective question to ask. I don't believe the narrative is set in one way or the other. Okay. I mean, I would say that when we head to the Supreme Court, we expect to get reprieve from that. And that will be the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. So their judgment stands, and they have often overturned concurrent judgments, not twice, but 3 or 4 times, at least. When the judgment has been in one direction, they've overturned it. So
so we'll only know, and once again, no matter what,
into it, that the Supreme Court will overturn it.
Gentlemen, Mr. Kidwai and Mr. Mangalam, appreciate you joining us. Thank you, ma'am, Ms. Sarangi there, joining us on this debate this evening. We're going to just let it rest. We're going to leave it for our viewers to decide on which side of this divide that they stand on. Rahul Gandhi is going to legally and politically fight it out. Legally will mean the Supreme Court. Politically, there seems to be an ideological case being made for Rahul Gandhi when he's going to the people in terms of, standing up for plurality and so much else. A quick break. Up next, Rahul Kamal.
The sinking town of Joshimath. These are images from January this year, when buildings in the town that serve as a base camp for pilgrims headed to Badrinath shrine suddenly developed cracks. The cause was ascertained to be land subsidence. Unsafe buildings were marked, some demolished. Those who lost their homes shifted to camps with the promise of adequate relief. 6 months later, Joshimath is still sinking, but the residents are back in their unsafe homes.
We are bringing you another exclusive report from Joshimath on India Today, where the families have moved back to the houses which were declared unsafe by the authorities in January when the Joshimath disaster unfolded. House number 1, where people are still living. House number 2, the red mark is still the declaration that this house is unfit, unsafe for living.
Many of the affected people were given shelter in nearby hotels. The residents claim as the tourist season started, they were told to leave the facilities. Among the many families are these two sisters, who have returned to a house that seems to be on the verge of collapsing.
अप्रैल में आ गए थे घर वापस, क्योंकि अब होटल में भी ये हो गया था कि हमारे टूरिस्ट आ रहे हैं, और दूसरी बात ये था कि हमने मुआवजे के लिए फॉर्म जमा कर दिया था और हमें मुआवजा मिल गया था, तो फिर हम लोगों को होटल में रहना अलाउड नहीं था, और खाना तो इन्होंने पहले ही बंद कर दिया था। 12 लाख रुपए उन्होंने हमारे हाथ पे पकड़ा दिया। 12 लाख रुपए में जोशीमठ की अगर बात करें, कोई भी पूछ ले, एक ही कमरे बनाने में यहाँ पे 7 से 8 लाख रुपए लगते हैं। 12 लाख रुपए में ना हमारे लिए घर बनेगा, और इतनी मतलब चेक पकड़ा दिया और तुम होटल के कमरे से निकलो, इतनी जल्दी घर बन जाएगा उस 12 लाख में?
Bhagwati Prasad used to run a hotel in Joshimath. His son had quit his job in Bengaluru to join the business. In January, everything changed. The family claims they are yet to get any relief.
ये तोड़ तो दिया, लेकिन इसका कोई मुआवजा मिलने की संभावना नहीं है। जो मेरी प्रशासन से बात हुई, उनका कहना यह है कि ये जो आपके पहाड़ी क्षेत्र में जो भी मकान बनते हैं, वो टिन के हों, पठाल के हों, पत्थर के हों, इनको हम कच्चे की श्रेणी में लेते हैं, ये पक्के की श्रेणी में नहीं आता है।
जनवरी से लेके आज तक इन्हीं आधे निकाल के हम आंसू नहीं रोक पा रहे, बहुत दुख है। होना चाहिए सरकार को भी सद्बुद्धि। हमने विरोध नहीं किया, सरकार अपनी है, देश अपना है, प्रदेश अपना है, हम विरोध नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन हम ये जरूर बोलेंगे कि क्यों आप इतने अंधे बने हुए हैं।
So how does one log off? Limit yourself to one screen at a time. Spring clean your social media accounts. Use apps to bolster self-control. Don't charge your phone near your bed. Set time boundaries in usage. Use your gadgets thoughtfully. Think about whether you actually need to use your laptop or whether you need to use your phone. Is there any work really, or just using it mindlessly? Do you really need to watch TV, or you'd rather go for a walk or even take a nap, which is actually more relaxing, more refreshing?
If you ask an average person, they'll say, oh, I'm on social media for about 10-15 minutes or maybe a little bit more in there. I'm not typically there. But if they start actually analyzing their time, and there are apps and features available on these gadgets, they then come to realize that I was putting so many hours more.
Prioritizing offline relationships and getting a glimpse of what real life offers brings real joy. Try it.
Breathe, breathe, breathe.
A stronger core, a toned figure, classical yoga. Add some anti-gravity into the mix. And you have this fun, elegant and rather exciting aerial yoga practice going for you. Celebrities all over are obsessed with this Instagrammable yoga. They've been hanging upside down like owls of the aerial silks suspended from the ceiling. The acrobatic aspect makes it a lot of fun and rather very clickable. Shilpa Shetty, Alia Bhatt, Jackie Fernandez, Kareena Kapoor Khan, Ananya Pandey, Malaika Arora and so many more have shown us how they look after their bodies and tone those abs for a beautifully strong core that makes age look like just another number. Aerial yoga is a hybrid one. Developed by Michelle Dortignac in 2006, it involves dancing, Pilates, yoga poses and tons of acrobatic moves.
You have to add on to other ways of format as well if you want to see yourself into a progress to aerial. So either you do your body weight workouts, either you do yoga, either you do ashtanga, anything that has to be, alternate.
If you get bored going to the gym every day or running or walking does not cut it for you, give this a shot. This anti-gravity yoga as a lifestyle change. It will help you maintain great fitness, help with flexibility and balance. Just remember to check with your doctor first. Yes, doctor, because it is so dynamic that there are some who should not do it. Pregnant women, people with migraines, or anyone who is not allowed to hang upside down for medical reasons, people with blood pressure issues. Your doctor can decide if you are suited for it or not. With that clearance, get set and go.
Heart patients, people with cataract eyes, eye operations, people with high fluctuating BPs, definitely they cannot perform aerial yoga. Rest, everybody, depending on their strength, depending on the progression towards flexibility, can perform aerial yoga.
We get it if normal yoga is boring for you, and hence look at how the aerial one works.
Keep breathing, do not hold your breath.
One session can cost you approximately 800 rupees depending on where you go. You require a minimum of 2 to 3 sessions a week for 3 months to learn this properly. And while it looks far more exciting than regular yoga, it has benefits aplenty. It enhances flexibility, boosts your mental health. It can boost spiritual well-being. It could help strengthen your core, help tone the body, help you achieve overall fitness goals. Indeed, this practice is picturesque and looks too tough for beginners. But with the right instructor, it is super simple for most who are into fitness already, with an additional benefit of leaving you feeling super zen. In New Delhi with Nitika Gandhi, Lifestyle Bureau, India Today.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies.
Co-presented by Century Ply Club Prime, Raho Befikar.
Co-presented by Macho Hind, Bade Aaram Se.
Powered by NECC, Sunday Hoya Monday, Rose Kha One Day. Co-powered by the new Kia Seltos, the badass reborn.
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the news track. I'm Rahul Gandhi. A day before the big West Bengal Panchayat polls, an India Today special investigation on West Bengal's bomb-making factories. That's my top focus on the news track.
Bomb attacks, explosions, carnage. The bloody road to Bengal's Panchayat election. And now India Today exposes Bengal's bomb factories. Who has blood and gunpowder on their hands? Bombs of Bengal, an India Today special investigation.
We've seen political violence and killing spiral in the build-up to these Panchayat elections. Where are these bombs coming from? An eye-opening India Today expose is coming up, but before that, here are the headlines. No relief for Rahul Gandhi. He remains disqualified as Member of Parliament after Gujarat High Court refuses to stay his conviction in the Modi surname defamation case. Prime Minister Modi attends the Gita Press centenary celebrations in Gorakhpur weeks after the Gandhi Peace Prize controversy, unveils a copy of the Shiv Puran, calls Gita Press an example of living faith. BJP announces new teams for 4 assembly polls. Prahlad Joshi given charge of Rajasthan, Bhupender Yadav of Madhya Pradesh, O.P. Mathur made election in charge in Chhattisgarh, and Prakash Javadekar in charge of Telangana. Delhi court takes cognizance of sexual harassment case against Brijbhushan Sharan, summons the wrestling body chief on the 18th of July. After launch of Twitter alternative Threads, Musk threatens to sue Meta, accuses the social media giant of unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets. In a few hours from now, West Bengal will vote in the sensitive Panchayat elections. But India has seen how the road to this local body election has been a bloody one. At least 18 people have died in incidents of poll violence. It's not just about violent clashes and stone pelting anymore. This election has seen several incidents of bomb attacks and explosion. Now, an India Today investigation reveals how these bomb factories are booming this poll season. Mohammad Hizbullah from the India Today Special Investigation Team with our top story tonight.
The road to Bengal's Panchayat elections littered with the debris of bomb attacks. Devastating testimony to the extent the political machine can go in the pursuit of electoral dominance. One of the worst so far is this one on your screen. On June 24th, this blast in Murshidabad killed 26-year-old Alim Sheikh and injured 3 others. 5 days earlier, not far from here, 5 children aged between 7 and 11 sustained serious injuries when they mistakenly played with a crude bomb that had been assembled for political use. A week later, the police recovered 4 fresh bombs near a primary school in North 24 Parganas, a terrifying and literally explosive thread that has run virtually unchecked and uninterrupted in Bengal's smallest electoral battlefield. Bombs aimed at wiping out rivals and spreading fear are now a dominant theme in the Panchayat polls on Saturday. The surge in these attacks has cast a familiar shadow of fear and loathing. Amidst the explosions and carnage, few are asking where these bombs really come from. Who precisely assembles them? How are they so easily available? An India Today undercover special investigation team has just completed a mission fraught with risk and danger, where undercover reporters penetrated the epicenter of this terrifying industry, revealing for the first time on camera the fully devastating reality of Bengal's bomb factories. The political class that has blood and gunpowder on its hand, and a public that runs the daily risk of losing life and limb. Under the Explosive Substances Act, manufacturing, selling or using bombs is totally banned in the country. Join our team of undercover reporters now as we show you how effortlessly this and several other laws are broken with zero fear of repercussions. This special investigation begins in West Bengal's Bankura district. After crossing this makeshift bridge over the Damodar River at midnight, we meet our bomb supplier. He's a veteran, having supplied explosives for 2 decades and counting. Watch now as he displays his wares.
आप सैंपल दिखाएंगे मुझे?
कोटो है, कोटो। कोटो है।
ये कोटो बम है। हाँ। ये कैसे बनता है?
ये नारकेल है।
ये क्या है?
ये तो कोटो बनता है।
कोटो।
अरे ये जो है ना नारकेल है।
हाँ।
ये भी ये धरेगा, ये मारेगा ना।
हाँ।
तो फूट जाएगा।
अच्छा और ये
फूट जाएगा।
अच्छा।
ये फूट जाएगा। এটা মানে বেশি সুবিধা।
हाँ।
এটা ধরতে সুবিধা।
हाँ।
আর এটা লিয়ে বেশি দূর যাওয়া যাবে না। ये आंगुल আছে ना, ये जोर दाब गया तो फट गया।
अच्छा हाँ
पावरफुल होता है।
अच्छा ये पावरफुल है। अच्छा और ये
पावरफुल।
और लोग कौन सा ज़्यादा बनाते, लोगों को कौन सा ज़्यादा डिमांड होता है?
डिमांड ये जोड़ होगा बेसी।
The market for these bombs is the truly frightening aspect of this dark investigation.
तो आप किस पार्टी के लिए बनाते हैं?
कौन पार्टी के लिए?
हाँ?
पार्टी के लिए। पार्टी का एक का पुलिस का, हाँ? 1.5 मास का गांच रहा है। एक पार्टी लगी, मैं पार्टी की चुप पड़ा नहीं। हाँ? घोड़े फैमिली का अपोज जाएगा। और सेके के नाके से ना पार्टी देगा, फिर ना पार्टी करेगा।
सब पार्टी वाले करना।
हाँ, कोनो पार्टी वाला कोनो सिस्टम नहीं।
हाँ, अच्छा। हाँ। जो आएगा
चलेगा। कुछ गुप्तो भागा आएगा,
हाँ?
कुछ गुप्तो भागे जाएगा।
अच्छा।
That's right. All political parties buy these bombs. And unsurprisingly, this is a seasonal business that booms when elections are in the air. But how can the police not be aware of this? Do the bomb makers and suppliers not fear the law of being busted and arrested?
पुलिस उसको समझ नहीं आया।
पुलिस
वो तो बोल रहा हूँ पुलिस अगर गाँच रखो तो देर में तो जो बम बास्टिंग हो गया हमारे आइडिया करिले हमारे आइडिया करिले पुलिस से काचे आज एक हमारे कोनो केस नहीं।
हाँ।
तो थोड़ा ला आइडिया करो। फिर हमें रात का 3 बजे का माल का छोड़ देगा। एक जब उनको नहीं जाओ आना कोनो दायित्व नहीं।
अच्छा।
हमारे काज धोई गया ये वीडियो करूँगा। বুঝতে পেরেছি তো, এর বেশি কিছু নেই। আমি যে তোমার মালটা তুলে দেবো তাও না, আমি সেখান থেকে আপনাকে ধরে দেবো, আমি থাকবার জায়গায় আপনাকে রাখবার জায়গায়, বুঝতে পারছেন তো, ধরে দেবো, আমি চলে যাবো। আমি কোথায় বাঁধছি সেটা আমি বলবো না, আপনাকে রাখবার জায়গায়, কাজ করবার জায়গায়, বুঝতে পেরেছেন তো, দিয়ে এসে ধরে দেবো।
From Bankura, our undercover team makes its way to West Bengal's Purba Bardhaman. Right off the bat, he tells our undercover cameras that he has already supplied 2,000 bombs to political parties in just the last few months in the run-up to the Bengal Panchayat polls.
बोलिए,
माल चाहिए।
माल चाहिए तो आपका कितने लिए जरूरत है?
अभी चुनाव में चाहिए ना?
चुनाव में चाहिए। चुनाव में तो हर आदमी बोल रहा है, ऑर्डर दे रहा है।
अच्छा,
बांकुड़ा में देता है।
नहीं अभी मिल जाएगा, मेरे को चाहिए।
मिलेगा, एक रोज बाद मिलेगा।
चुनाव तो 2 दिन बाद ही है, तो कैसे 2 रोज बाद कैसे दोगे?
अभी तो ऑर्डर है मेरा पास।
हाँ,
ऑर्डर है तो अभी
तो कब दोगे आप?
तो नहीं देंगे, कल से बाद परसों देंगे। कितना पीस चाहिए बोलिए?
मेरे को 50 पीस चाहिए।
50 पीस चाहिए।
हाँ,
ठीक है, मिल जाएगा।
क्या बॉम्ब की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं?
बॉम्ब में बात कर रहे हैं।
He too has a variety of bomb products to showcase, including grenades.
तो कौन सा बम होगा?
हाथ बम मिलेगा।
अच्छा, हाथ बम
मिलेगा, ग्रेनेड मिलेगा।
ग्रेनेड भी मिलेगा?
हाँ।
The supplier also showed us his weapons and revealed how he can supply.
सैंपल तो दिखाइए पहले।
लीजिए।
अरे मेरे से हिम्मत नहीं है छूने की।
लीजिए, कुछ नहीं होगा, अभी कुछ नहीं होगा, जब बस्ट नहीं होगा, पता नहीं तो बस्ट नहीं होता।
माल आपके पास स्टॉक है?
हाँ।
अभी स्टॉक में नहीं है आपके पास?
मसला स्टॉक है।
और माल बना हुआ नहीं है?
नहीं बना हुआ है, वो आदमी कल पैसा ले लिया है, उसको मिलेगा तो कब मिलेगा।
कितना बना हुआ है?
अभी मिलेगा 100 पीस, उसका ऑर्डर है, 100 पीस ले जाएगा बाकी।
Post-poll violence after the 2021 Bengal Assembly elections are infamous for their brutality. At least 25 people were killed and hundreds injured in thousands of separate attacks. In the run-up to the Panchayat polls, 14 people, including minors, have died in bomb attacks. The latest, a 17-year-old. What this investigation reveals on camera, upfront and uncensored is that the bombs that play a terrifying lead role in grassroots political action on the path to even a panchayat poll are part of an industry that won't be wound up easily or soon. A report by Muhammad Hizbullah for India Today's Special Investigation Team.
This India Today investigation reveals that all parties seem to be part of this cycle of political violence. A day before the Panchayat polls, the West Bengal governor and the Mamata Banerjee government are at daggers drawn on the issue of who's fueling this poll violence.
Hours before votes are cast for the West Bengal Panchayat poll, 3 BJP workers were shot dead allegedly by TMC men in Dinhata, Cooch Behar. In the run-up to the elections, 18 people have been killed in this blood politics. violence and carnage continues, the political war of words is also escalating. West Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose visited the violence-hit areas in Murshidabad. He also accused the State Election Commissioner of failing the discharge of his duties.
We put up a fence to guard the crops. We put up a chain. We put a chain, not taking chain. What do when the fence itself eats up the crops? If democracy is dead during these panchayat elections, who is the killer? Who is the killer? Who is the killer? Will the State Election Commissioner SEC please raise his hand? Will the SEC please raise his hand? You should know who are the killers.
Mamata Banerjee's nephew and TMC General Secretary Abhishek Banerjee has hit back at the governor.
আপনি রাজ্যপালকে দেখেছেন একবারের জন্য গিয়ে কেন্দ্র সরকারকে বলা যে বাংলার মানুষের টাকা আটকে রয়েছে আপনারা ব্যবস্থা নিন উপর থেকে দিল্লি থেকে যেভাবে ওনার কাছে আদেশ আসছে উনি চেষ্টা করছেন ওনার সীমাবদ্ধ এখতিয়ার অনুযায়ী ক্ষমতা অনুযায়ী যাতে সেই আদেশগুলো অক্ষরে অক্ষরে পালন করা যায় রাজ্যপাল বলছে যে নির্বাচন কমিশনের হাতে যদি রক্ত লেগে আছে তাহলে মণিপুরে যে 300 জন মারা গেল তার রক্ত কার হাতে লেগে আছে
The Calcutta High Court has directed that the central forces will remain deployed across West Bengal for 10 days after the Panchayat poll results are declared on July 11 in order to ensure the safety of people and elected Panchayat members. Will it be enough to stop the cycle of poll violence? Bureau Report, India Today.
Is any one party more to blame for this poll violence? Are all parties equally to blame? What might happen in the West Bengal Panchayat polls tomorrow? Remember, the BJP lost the last assembly elections. In the last Panchayat polls, it was one-way traffic in favor of the Trinamool Congress. This time, you're seeing a bigger fight because there's a pushback from the BJP. To talk about the bombs of Bengal and this India Today special investigation, we're joined on this broadcast representing the ruling Trinamool Congress in West Bengal, its spokesperson Mohammad Tausifur Rahman. To talk about the BJP's perspective, we have the party's national spokesperson Sanju Verma. For a perspective from West Bengal, we have India Today's consulting editor Jayanto Ghoshal. Shikha Mukherjee joins us. And we have Dr. Nazrul Islam, former Additional Director General. I want to go across to Dr. Nazrul Islam first. You've been in charge of law and order in the state of West Bengal. This investigation suggests, and if I use the comments made by the bomb makers as a reference, that all parties seem to be buying bombs, which is why these bomb-making factories are really killing it in election season. Who do you think is more to blame?
Actually, the police minister, who is also the chief minister, Mamata Banerjee is to be blamed most. And after her, it is the state election commissioner, Rajiv Sinha, to be blamed for this during the Panchayat election. Because at the time of Panchayat election, all the police forces and other administration is given by the governor under the state election commissioner. So whatever is happening, single-handedly, state election commissioner is to be blamed most.
Okay, let Mohammad Tausifur Rahman respond to this. You're hearing from a former Additional Director General who's been part of the West Bengal administration, law and order and policing, saying that the Chief Minister and the state government and the State Election Commission are to blame because law and order at this moment is your responsibility. If there is violence in the state, there wasn't violence when Panchayat polls happened in Uttar Pradesh on Yogi Adityanath's watch. Therefore, this is in part the responsibility of the Chief Minister and in part the responsibility of the State Election Commission.
Well, good evening, Rahulji. Rahul, of course, I mean, it's very easy as of now to blame the state government that the law and order is under TMC government. Of course it is. And Mamata Banerjee or beat it Abhishek Banerjee, they are not backing out of it in anything. Of course, it's condemnable, it's heart-wrenching, losing those 15 lives, whether they belong to BJP, CPM, TMC, ISF. Everyone has lost their life, even the innocent people who were never connected to political agenda or anything with the political thing. But, you know, I'm very surprised to see the video. I mean, it's a breaking news what I'm seeing on India Today from Bakura. The bombs are there. And I won't like to tell you, Rahulji, that from Bakura, there are two MPs from BJP. One is Dr. Subhash Sarkar and other is Soumitra Khan. So I guess they are involved in this bomb factories or they are making
But
it.
that's a preposterous charge because you have no evidence to back what you're saying at this moment. So law and order is on your watch.
This is what. When it comes, Rahulji, when it comes for evidence, it becomes a very good lecture.
Okay.
You know, when you sit on a national television, especially a channel like India Today, and you blame the chief minister, we are not backing out. But what is the fact? You know, I'll tell you, I'll share a video from Dilip Ghosh. He was clearly stating that I know from where these bombs are coming, from where these hooligans are coming, who are doing this. Everyone is coming from Bangladesh. I'll share the video.
Okay.
So if he knows,
Rahul,
these hooligans are coming from Bangladesh. So who is responsible with BSF? BSF is not under state government. BSF comes under central government. So if Dilip Ghosh knows, so it must be everything under the nose of Amit Shah.
Let Sanju Verma respond.
No
you are blaming the BSF for letting these infiltrators and these bomb makers in. You're also saying where is the evidence to blame the Trinamool or the Chief Minister Sanju Verma? The ADG says the state government is to blame. The Trinamool spokesperson says that's like firing a blank in the air. You have no evidence to back that charge. He's suggesting, because of what Dilip Ghosh said, that this is actually infiltration from Bangladesh.
You know, Rahul, now I did not heckle the TMC spokesperson and I need my time. And I want to completely, destroy the absolute gibberish that he has spoken. And before doing so, let me tell your audience what the two-judge bench of Justice Manoj Mishra and Justice B.V. Nagaratna said on the 20th of June 2023 in a clear castigation of how law and order has taken a flying leap out of the window under a highly incompetent Mamata Banerjee, who is not only the chief minister, but the de facto home minister of West Bengal.
Mamata Banerjee is incompetent.
I did not interrupt, Rahul.
You are using
let her respond, please. Okay, Rahman's fader goes down. I can't run a debate like this. If everybody starts talking over each other, I can't control the debate. Let Sanju Verma complete. Your fader is down, so don't waste your energy. Let Sanju complete.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rahul. So now I repeat, Mamata Banerjee is not only the chief minister, but the de facto home minister of West Bengal, and law and order under Mamata Banerjee has taken a flying leap out of the window. And in 20 seconds, I will just read out what the Supreme Court said. What Dilip Ghosh says, what Sanju Verma says, or what Tausifur Rahman says is not relevant. But what Supreme Court says is absolutely relevant. And this is what the Supreme Court said on the 20th of June 2023. It said, holding elections cannot be a license to commit violence. Elections cannot be accompanied with violence if the candidates are unable to file nomination or if they are finished off while they are going to file it. Then where is free and fair election? I am reading out from the Supreme Court judgment ad verbatim. And then when the West Bengal State Election Commission, which reports into Mamata Banerjee, said that, we just need 22 companies of the CAPF. We don't need too many companies of the CAPF. This is what Justice Nagaratna said. Even according to you, the police forces are inadequate to deal with this situation as there are 75,000 booths that you have in the state. Then why is it that you have a problem if central forces are brought in? But Rahul, 20 seconds more, just. The local media in Bengal, and I have friends in West Bengal, they say that forget about BJP, forget about Trinamool Congress. The waterways and irrigation minister of Mamata Banerjee, a young Muslim lady called Sabina Yasmin, there is a problem now between her and Mamata Banerjee because she has admitted on record not only to various media channels, but she has openly castigated her own dispensation saying that a large part of the violence in Malda, Murshidabad, she's the MLA from Motabhari, and she says large part of the violence is actually perpetrated by her own TMC colleagues.
Dr. Nazrul
So
Islam,
here is a
I want you to respond to Mohammad Rahman of the TMC. He says, where is the evidence? You're leveling this charge against the Chief Minister, against Trinamool. He says you have no evidence to back this.
No, Rahulji.
No, one second. Let Dr. Islam respond.
I am giving the evidence.
Yes.
Yes. In our policing in India, intelligence is given so much importance. Then the Director Intelligence Bureau is the senior most police officer, 4-star general. So in the state also there is intelligence branch, and in Calcutta police there is special branch. So if Dilip Ghosh or Sukanta Majumdar or Sujan Chakraborty, whoever does the mischief, the police should have intelligence. Who is making bomb, who is supplying illegal arms, the police is supposed to know that. If after knowing all these things, the police minister Mamata Banerjee, who is also the chief minister, does not take any action against this, then from 9th the vote is declared, and in these 28 days there are 21 deaths, and there are more who got bullet injuries, who got bomb injuries. And
Rahul, can I come in?
After so much death, in the TV interview, yes. Yes.
No, let him complete. Dr. Islam, please complete.
Shall I
Tawsifur, hold your turn. Yes, no, you must complete.
Yes, I am telling that whoever be the criminals, it is the duty of the police to nab him and control. And from my experience in police, I can tell that if the police wants, this thing cannot happen. This is happening because this police has become Joe Hujur. Yes,
that's a very good point that you make. That if the police wants, they know who these bomb makers are, they know where these factories are, and they can put a stop to this. Tawsifur, respond to the former ADG that if the police wanted to bring a halt to this, they can do it. They don't want to do this. Now let the TMC spokesperson respond.
Rahul bhai, it is very simple. You can stop the violence in one day. You can go ahead, make a several arrests, which is happening every day. Several arrests have been done every day, every single day, day and night. But the problem is, I want to give you evidence. What is the difference between a violence and conspiracy? The conspiracy is very simple. And you have to understand, the BJP, they don't have candidates, they don't have cadres, they don't have volunteers. Same as ISF, Congress and CPM as well. I will show you the proof. Maybe it must be irrelevant what I'm going to tell you. But there I can give you evidence. There are 100 independent candidates, Rahul bhai, 100 independent candidates. And if you see the posters of those candidates backed by BJP, ISF, Congress and CPM. Now, what kind of conspiracy you want to do that? You want to malign the image of Bengal, or you want to harass the commoners who wants to stay in Bengal? You know, when I went for campaigning, those people staying in that hut, poor people, they were telling me that I know these people, they do BJP. We don't have any problem. But end of the night, they are coming in a house and they are telling me in Bengali that kalke toke ami bahre jete debo na. So this kind of fascination, vote polarization is happening in Bengal. I mean, it's no violence, Rahul bhai. It is a conspiracy. And people coming from
I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond because I want to go across to Jayanto as well. 1 second, very quickly, Sanju Verma, I have to go to Jayanto next.
Rahul, at least give me 45 seconds. You know, the Trinamool Congress spokesperson rambled on for more than 60 seconds. I just have this to say. Rahul, I ask you a question. If today there is an incident in Madhya Pradesh, who do we blame? We blame Shivraj Singh Chauhan's government. If there is a problem in Uttar Pradesh, we blame Yogi Adityanath. If there is a problem in Assam, we blame Himanta Biswa Sarma. If there is a problem in Haryana, we blame the Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar. How is it that when there is lawlessness and widespread violence in West Bengal,
we are not Narendra Modi and Amit Shah that we will not do.
Rahul, this is not fair. This man has a bad habit of heckling. I did not interject him even once. Can I finish? How is it that when there is violence in West Bengal, we should not blame Mamata Banerjee, but we should blame the Congress, or we should blame the BJP, or we should blame the left?
Okay, I hear you.
Mamata Banerjee has to take responsibility. Now, give me 20 seconds more. I just want to say this. There is a false narrative that when panchayat elections are underway, it is the election commission which manages law and order, and the state government has nothing to do with it. Under Article 324 of the Constitution, the Chief Election Commissioner has said law and order continues to be the responsibility of the respective state government.
Okay, it is most certainly. I want to show our viewers what's happening in the elections on Saturday. Here's a look at the number of seats that are uncontested. Remember, in West Bengal, unlike a lot of other states, a lot of seats simply go uncontested. And the reason for that is that the opposition isn't able to put anyone up against them. So in 1993, 1,716 seats went uncontested. In 1998, it was 680. In 2003, it came to 6,800. In 2013, it was 6,278. Last elections, it was 20,076. That's the number of uncontested seats. This time, we're told about 9% of the seats are uncontested. So the number is coming down from the last elections, but still quite high. I want to also show you what's happened in the West Bengal Panchayat elections in terms of vote share and seat share in past elections. So we're going to call that up on the screen and take you through vote share numbers first. In the 2018 Panchayat elections, the Trinamool Congress scored about 78% of the vote. That is massive because in the Lok Sabha elections, they had 43% of the vote, and in the assembly election, they had 48%. So that means in the Panchayat polls, there's a big spike relative to what happened in the assembly and in the Lok Sabha polls. In the last Panchayat elections, the BJP was weak. It got only 12% of the vote. In the Lok Sabha elections, it got 41%. In the assembly elections, it got 38%. The CPI, the CPM are now much diminished forces, as is the Congress. I want to show you how many wards and Panchayat seats were actually won by different parties. In 2018, the Trinamool won 82% of all the wards that were up for offer. The BJP won 12% of the wards that were on offer. The CPI and the CPM had very small numbers. So the majority of the wards were won by the Trinamool. And remember, in the Lok Sabha elections, the Trinamool picked up only 52% of the seats on offer. In the assembly elections, the Trinamool picked up 73%, but the maximum was in the Panchayat elections. And typically, whoever is the state government tends to do better in the Panchayat elections. That's just the way it is all across the country. Whoever has the state government typically tends to do better in the local body elections. So about 38,118 of the Panchayat seats were won by the Trinamool. The BJP had only 5,779. This is out of about 48,649. So I want to go across to Jayanto Ghoshal. Jayanto, who is to blame for heightened violence? There was this kind of violence when the left was in power and when the Trinamool was trying to make inroads against the left. After that, when the Trinamool started dominating, the level of violence came down. Now we're seeing a big spike again. Who's to blame and why?
Rahul, I first, at the outset, I salute your investigating team. Being a journalist, I am proud of this sort of investigation. You know, blame game is a part of politics, and it is true that the ruling party, because the law and order is the state subject and the police is under state government. So if you can't control the bombing factories as a small and cottage industries of Bengal, then obviously, as we criticize CPM, when CPM was in power, we criticized Siddharth Shankar Ray when he used that bombs for the Congress, the goons of his own party. So now, obviously, we have to say that the responsibility primarily it goes to the state government. But Rahul, I have a different perspective that you have to study the socio-economic conditions of Bengal, why it has been, irrespective of party line. In your investigation also, the bomb maker is saying that he is a business person and he is selling the bomb who is the consumer. So the consumer, the ruling party is consumer to retain the power and the opposition parties are consumer to get the power. So, and you are saying that uncontested seats are decreasing. That means the power of BJP and the opposition space, when that is increasing, the conflict, where is the conflict? If there is a opposition, where there is a antithesis. If there is no antithesis, no opposition, no contest, no conflict. But you know, this time, gradually, you have to give the share to the devil. Trinamool's devil is BJP, but you have to accept the fact that in 2019 they got 18 seats, the percentage of vote, and you know, this small and cottage industry of bombings, I was seeing the Agra, the wife of the bomb maker died, and when I was watching in the television, the family condition and the social strata, they are very poor. So if you cannot give the industry, if you cannot give the socio-economic development, if you cannot give the job, so it's a very easy way to get the money. And you know, Agra in the Midnapur, after this incident also, again incidents took place. Yesterday there was a major incident when 17 years old boy, he was just watching the procession, and the procession was TMC's procession. And someone bombed. And who bombed? Because BJP is saying it is TMC versus TMC. TMC is saying that it is BJP and then Indian Secular Front. So I don't want to go to the blame game because I am not the investigating officer. But constitutionally, responsibility goes to the state government. Certainly. But you know, once upon a time from Munger bombs used to come. Now we are self-sufficient state. We can make our own bombs. We are not importing bombs from Bihar. Earlier it used to come from Munger by boats, the gun and the bombs. But now our manufacturing industry of bombs, it is very sad. We should not blame. There should be a consensus, political consensus to stop this sort of bombing manufacturing industries, Rahul.
Interesting insights from Jayanto Ghoshal there. Shikha Mukherjee, how is your outlook on the Panchayat polls? How is this election, in your view, different from the last Panchayat poll?
Well, the last Panchayat poll, I think the Trinamool Congress was far more aggressively pursuing a goal of total capture of all Panchayat seats. This year, I think the contest has been rather less intense in the sense that, why is that? That is because I think the Trinamool Congress got a little wise to the fact that, you know, this uncontested seats, nominations, and all of that had somehow or the other affected its credibility as the party that can win the seats through a popular mandate. And it definitely needs that popular mandate this time too. The other thing that I'm seeing, which is not, is that this time, the violence that we are seeing, I mean, let me get the figures right first. First and foremost, in the 2018 Panchayat elections, 27 people died. In the 2013 Panchayat elections, some 30 people died. In the 2003 elections, I think 79 or 80 people died. And in an election before that, over 100 people died. So if you're looking at violence, let's get a perspective on how the violence has played out in West Bengal. If the count today is 20, I am almost certain that the count will go up on between the 8th and the 11th and thereafter.
Sure. Tausifur, I just did a simple calculation which suggests to me that about 8,760 Panchayat seats out of the 73,000 are likely to go uncontested. The fact that 12% of the seats on offer are going uncontested says while fear has come down from the last election. Why should even 1% of the seats go uncontested? Why is the opposition not being able to put up candidates?
Rahulji, absolutely. I mean, see, the party leadership has issued strong instruction to booth workers to refrain from violence and make sure the entire nomination procedure remains free and fair. Now, the problem is you need to make another report in Bengal, Rahul bhai, that whether do these people have candidates? Do they have candidates? Where are the people?
Yeah, that's
they don't have. Now the only thing is they want to create a misunderstanding between the people and show what's happening in Bengal.
Shikha Mukherjee, your sense is that the case? No,
Rahul, please, I'll just finish.
One at a time. Please wait.
I'll just
please
finish,
wait.
Rahul bhai.
Yes, okay, Tawsifur, quickly, 20 seconds and complete.
Abhishek Banerjee, before governor opening his helpline, Abhishek Banerjee had his helpline stating clearly that any BJP cadres or any CPM ISF cadres having problems for the nomination, they can directly call me and we can take care of everything. Now, Sanjuji won't believe that. This is the problem. You don't want to believe it.
Shikha Mukherjee, all fighters go down. Shikha Mukherjee, is it because they don't have candidates, or is it because of fear of poll violence that even in this election 12% of the seats are going uncontested?
No, I mean, the number of candidates required for this election is something on the scale of 70 to 73,000.
Correct.
It is not possible for the smaller parties to produce this kind of.
Okay, let Sanju Verma respond. That is not because of the fear of the Trinamool. It's because you don't have so many candidates.
Hang on. Rahul, may I please now? I don't have the. Just 1 minute, Sanju.
No, 1 second, Sanju. Let her complete.
Let me just finish.
Yes. Okay.
I think I don't have the figures with me readily, and maybe that's something worth looking at over the next couple of days. Is that the number of candidates the respective parties have put up in this particular election? My sense is that the number of candidates put up by the BJP and the CPM or the left has increased compared to last.
Okay, Sanju Verma, it's not because of fear of the violence by the Trinamools, because you simply don't have enough candidates on every seat.
Okay, now I need to respond to that. Rahul, you are a very astute journalist. And when you say that the violence in West Bengal today is not due to Mamata Banerjee's incompetence, but because BJP does not have enough candidates, with no offense to you, that is like trying to rationalize the lawless situation in Bengal.
I never said it. No, one second. I never said it. I'm just quoting back to you what the TMC spokesperson said. So please don't put words in my mouth. I'm playing my role as a moderator. But go ahead and respond.
Okay, then I stand corrected. It is for the TMC spokesperson. Please don't rationalize violence on national television, especially on Rahul Kanwal's show. I have this to tell you. Do you remember the 2018 Panchayat polls? The governor then was K.N. Tripathi. And I remember that the Raniganj Durgapur DCP Arindam Datta Choudhry lost his right arm while trying to rein in the violence. Mamata Banerjee did not allow the then Governor K.N. Tripathi to even visit Asansol and Durgapur. And today, it is the same thing which is playing out. The Governor C.V. Ananda Bose is being taken pot shots at. And did you listen to that statement by Abhishek Banerjee? He says, the West Bengal governor suffers from too much of intelligence. He should rather use his intelligence in Manipur rather than using his intelligence in Bengal. I just want to say one thing. Please, I did not interrupt you. Look at the Kalia Chowk riots of 2016.
Why do you?
I can't have both people speaking at the same time. Let Sanju complete. Sanju, 20 more seconds. 20 more seconds. Quickly, please.
I need 30 seconds. Please, Rahul, indulge me. Kalia Chowk riots of 2016. Bhaduria riots of 2017. Asansol riots of 2018. Jadavpur violence of 2019. Then you had the Sitakulchi violence of 2021. You had the Birbhum riots of 2022.
Okay.
And now you have the violence ahead of Panchayat polls in 2023. Mamata Banerjee stands for lawlessness, incompetence, and widespread
Dr. Nazrul Islam, is it because the smaller parties don't have enough candidates, or is it because of the fear of violence that 12% of the seats, even in this election, are going uncontested?
Rahul, if the opposition parties had dearth of candidates, then the TMC criminals had no business to prevent the candidates who was going to file the nomination. Many candidates could not file the nomination. So if
TMC criminals, this is not fair. Sir, you're a ex-ADG.
Supreme Court has condemned Mamata Banerjee. Supreme Court has condemned
let me give the example. Let me give the example.
Tausifur, let Dr. Islam complete. All other faders go down. Let him speak 20 seconds.
Let me complete. Let me complete. Some people in Bhangar who wanted to file nomination, they could not file, then came to the High Court. And High Court ordered the police to take them so that they can file nomination. But the police took them to the TMC criminals who fired at them and killed one, and another got bullet injury and still in the Arjikar hospital. And I am giving another example. Bashanti, Jiarul Mullah is killed. His daughter is TMC candidate, and she is telling that her father was killed by the TMC criminals. And he does not want to continue in politics.
You know, Dr. Islam, given that you've been a part of the government in the way that you have, it's interesting that you're saying the kind of things that you are. And I think there are some insights there. There is violence when there is a pitch contest, and of course the state government is responsible for law and order. It's happening on their watch. When panchayat polls happened in Uttar Pradesh, we didn't see this kind of violence. It was, you know, relatively peaceful. Everyone went out, campaigned and voted. No seats went uncontested. There was a contest and whoever won, won. That's the way it should be everywhere. I'm going to thank my guests. Let's see what happens in the elections. We've got a special setup for live counting day on the 11th and the 12th. As the numbers from the panchayat wards come in, we'll be bringing them to you live on Aaj Tak Bangla, on India Today. Any election gets us excited. This is a good election on the ground in West Bengal. We don't matter so much in the national scheme of things, but take my word, it makes a difference to what happens in 2024 in West Bengal and shows the extent to which the BJP has been able to penetrate across the state, because the panchayat poll is really the smallest form of election. You can have a candidate who's strong in a Lok Sabha constituency, but do you have enough people on the ground in each panchayat? That's what we'll find out. So we'll track this on Saturday and then early next week as the counting happens. Counting here much slower and over 2 days rather than on an assembly or Lok Sabha election where it's over in a matter of a few hours. Slipping into a break, coming up on the other side after launch of Twitter alternative Threads, Musk threatens to sue Meta, accuses the social media giant of unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets.
Armed with facts, she takes the news by its horns.
You think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
The WHO has put the spotlight on fake sugars, but artificial sweeteners has only been an ever-growing market in India, and outside increase in cases of diabetes and the growing burden of obesity world over has ensured that people turn to alternatives. The demand for low-calorie food and beverages have contributed to the market's expansion in India. For example, sugar-free Zydus Wellness's artificial sweetener brand witnessed double-digit growth last year in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic as consumers opted for a healthier lifestyle, shows data from 2021. The Indian artificial sweetener market is projected to reach a value of Indian rupee 12.23 billion by 2023, growing at a CAGR of 3.4% during the forecast period. Think about it. Stevia and other sweeteners are found in 1 million products. Colas, juices, chewing gum, chocolates, and everything that is being sold as sugar-free. It clearly has grown way beyond just tabletop sweeteners. In India, the artificial sweetener market has witnessed significant growth over the past decade. On a global scale, the market for artificial sweeteners has also experienced substantial growth. The global artificial sweetener market was valued at approximately $19 billion in 2020 and is expected to reach $28.9 billion by 2028. The Food Safety and Standards Authority of India said it's evaluating the new guideline issued last week by the World Health Organization, but strong advisories against them is unlikely. With Brijesh Vashisht, Bureau Report, India Today.
The Musk versus Zuckerberg war is getting bigger. After challenging each other to a cage fight, the tussle has now exploded in the courtroom. The beef this time is over Meta's new social media app, Threads. Some are calling it the Twitter killer. No wonder its launch has Musk all ruffled up. He's threatening to sue Meta for copying the Twitter design.
From a cage fight to a court fight. Days after the launch of Twitter rival Threads, Elon Musk is taking his fight against Mark Zuckerberg to a whole new level. The Twitter boss has now threatened legal action against Zuckerberg for Meta's latest creation, Threads. The Threads platform, developed by Meta, bears a suspicious resemblance to Elon Musk's Twitter, allowing users to share their thoughts with a public audience in a simple text format.
Now the idea is there's an amazing community on Instagram and wonderful creators. We want to create a space where they can engage in public conversations that is friendly and that is open. And so we're going to bring a lot of the good tools from Instagram to Threads. Things like hidden words and restrict, which allow you to shape the experience into something a little bit more friendly. Things like our community guidelines, and over time, more features around recommendations and trends.
In just 2 days of its launch on Wednesday, Threads has already gained 30 million signups and counting, taking advantage of Instagram's billions of users to grow at this record-breaking rate. And while Musk all along acted totally cool about Zuckerberg's Threads, he's now said enough is enough. The reason for suing Threads? In a letter from Twitter's lawyer to Zuckerberg, Meta is being accused of having access to Twitter's trade secrets and other highly confidential information. Musk was quick to take to Twitter to respond to the situation, saying that competition is fine, cheating is not. Despite accusations that Meta cheated by hiring former Twitter employees and learning the tricks of Twitter's trade, a former senior employee of Twitter said that they were not aware of any former staffers working on Threads or any senior people working in Meta at all. Could Elon Musk just be grasping at Threads? What evidence does Musk have of these lofty accusations? In court, a little birdie may not cut it. All of this remains to be seen once the tech titans take it to the courtroom.
Could Elon Musk be grasping at Threads? What evidence does Musk have for these lofty accusations? A little birdie may not cut it in court. All this remains to be seen when the tech titans take it to the courtroom. This is Anya Niharika-Shutz for India Today.
Well, let's see if there's a strong enough use case for threads that can be built up. But the fact is, if Elon Musk keeps making it tougher and tougher for people to use Twitter, then its relevance as the public town square comes down and people find reasons to exit and find other platforms to vent on, talk on, or give their views on. So he's finding different ways of blowing up the $44 billion he spent on buying Twitter. Well, he's a multi-billionaire, he's got the money, but he's blowing this one up spectacularly so far. This is where we wrap up the news track tonight. Have a great weekend. At this moment, we're being told that there is no reshuffle likely over the weekend, but things can change. So we'll track that, and I'll see you Monday evening at 8 p.m. Goodbye, good night.
Forecast now. Delhi, maximum 36 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 23 and minimum 21 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 27 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 31 and minimum 22 degrees.
Kerala's public health. All political parties traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold, and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories. From every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
Forecast now. Delhi, maximum 36 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 23 and minimum 21 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 27 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 31 and minimum 22 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today Newsmo.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Co-presented by JK Tyre Ranger Series, stay wild at heart. Co-presented by Hayfler, let's reimagine. Powered by NECC, Sunday Hoya Monday, Rose Kha One Day. Co-powered by Watcho OTT, Super App.
One hai to done hai.
Co-powered by the new Kia Seltos, the badass reborn.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your primetime destination. News, newsmakers, talking points. The big talking point, is the BJP now out to finish Rahul Gandhi politically? Will 2024 still be a Rahul versus Modi battle, as some suggest? Also, we'll have an exclusive. Javed Akhtar is among my special guests tonight. He will be speaking to us on the contentious Uniform Civil Code. All that and more, but first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9 Friday night. No relief for Rahul Gandhi. The Congress leader remains disqualified as an MP after a Gujarat High Court refuses to stay his conviction in the Modi surname defamation case. CBI makes its first arrests in the Balasore train tragedy probe. 3 railway employees arrested. Sources claim accused knew their action could cause an accident. Enforcement watchdog attaches assets of Manish Sisodia, his wife, and other excise policy scam accused. Assets of the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister worth over 52 crore rupees are attached. Prime Minister Modi hits the ground running in poll-bound Chhattisgarh. Mocks opposition's guarantees, says BJP guarantees a crackdown on corruption instead. BJP forms new teams for 4 assembly polls. Prahlad Joshi given charge of Rajasthan, Bhupendra Yadav, Madhya Pradesh, OP Mathur, Chhattisgarh, Prakash Javadekar, Telangana. Delhi court takes cognizance of sexual harassment case against the BJP MP Brij Bhushan, summons the wrestling body chief on 18th of July. Divisions surface within Muslim community leaders over the One Nation, One Law. Pasmanda Muslim community leaders extend support. All India Muslim Personal Law Board earlier had tabled objections. It's not just tomato. Rice prices are now slowly rising to new highs. Global prices already at 11-year high after centre's MSP hike. Delay in monsoon rains could deepen the pain. And after launch of Twitter alternative threads, Elon Musk threatens to sue Meta, accuses the social media giant of unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets. But our top story tonight, Rahul Gandhi, the Congress leader, has suffered yet another setback in his attempt to become a member of parliament once again.
Today, the Gujarat High Court dismissed his plea, seeking a stay on his conviction in a criminal defamation case. Remember, Rahul Gandhi now has an option to approach the Supreme Court. Till the time he can get a stay on conviction, Rahul Gandhi is barred from contesting any election and remains disqualified as an MP. Tonight's top story is Rahul Gandhi's tryst with the courts.
एक छोटा सा सवाल, इन सब के नाम, इन सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 कैसे हैं? नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, और अभी थोड़ा ढूंढेंगे तो और बहुत सारे मोदी निकलेंगे.
This remark made at an election rally in Karnataka ahead of 2019 Lok Sabha elections haunts Rahul Gandhi. The Gujarat High Court on Friday dismissed the Congress leader's plea for stay on his conviction and 2-year jail term for defaming the Modi community. A stay would have reversed his disqualification as an MP. The single-judge bench of Justice Hemant Prachak that delivered a 125-page judgment was scathing in nature. The court ruled that like Patels and Jains, Modis are also a community and a surname. The court held Modi community is well-defined, identifiable and suable class of people. The judge said a stay of conviction is not a rule but an exception to be resorted to in rare cases. The court cited other cases filed against Rahul Gandhi and mentioned the case by V. Savarkar's grandson for alleged defamatory statements against the revolutionary. The judge said the offence committed falls in the category of moral turpitude and added that representatives of people should be men of clear antecedents. The court said that the need of the hour is to have purity in politics. Unhappy with the High Court's verdict, Congress workers staged protest in Delhi, Patna and Chennai. The Congress says it will fight the battle both politically and legally.
If you think free, speak free, act free, you will be visited with the worst possible criminal, civil and other consequences. We have no doubt that this intersection of arrogance and infallibility shown by the government of the day and the ruling party of the day will be dealt with properly in the Supreme Court.
The BJP welcomed the Gujarat High Court verdict.
एक महान देशभक्त वीर सावरकर जिसने 11 साल अंडमान में गुजारे, उसके बारे में कितनी नफरत है उनके दिल में, ये समझिए आप. सावरकर के पोते ने भी एक केस किया है. वीर सावरकर को उन्होंने विदेश में भी अपमानित किया. तो अपमानित करना, बेइज्जत करना, एब्यूज करना राहुल गांधी की फितरत है.
Now Rahul Gandhi can move the Supreme Court seeking a stay on his conviction and jail sentence. Unless he gets relief from the top court, the Congress leader won't be able to fight the 2024 Lok Sabha elections. Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me now is one of our newsmakers, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, 3-time senior MP of the Congress, CWC member, chair of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on various issues, senior advocate Supreme Court, and also someone who's been advising Rahul Gandhi. Well, Dr. Singhvi, you know, it appears at the moment that Rahul Gandhi has his back to the wall. You went to the lower courts, you went to the High Court, you haven't got a stay on the conviction. Now is the Supreme Court your last hope?
Rajdeep, by definition, Supreme Court is always the last hope. Let me tell you that, yes, we are going to go to the Supreme Court. But let me add that this is clearly on the face of it, according to me, and I, of course, may be wrong. I don't want to overstate things. I'm sure the Supreme Court would be interfering because this is an unsustainable and erroneous judgment. And when you ask me or give me time, I'll give you just not legalistically, but just for reasons why it is obviously an unsustainable judgment.
No, you're saying it's an unsustainable judgment, but let me tell you what the judge said. The Gujarat High Court judge said the need of the hour is to have purity in politics, says representatives of people should be men with clear antecedents, and in such cases, relief is the exception, not the rule. Rahul Gandhi had argued that he was suffering because he was losing out as an MP. The judge said, not good enough. You are effectively a serial offender, that there are 8 to 10 defamation cases against you.
Now, can I give you just some bullets?
Yes.
which have not been successful earlier. But let me tell you how the very same points you mentioned have a totally different perspective. Number one, the judge, the learned judge, in a particular para, in the attempt to make it sound very, very serious, comes to a conclusion, and you're not interested, the para number is 45, that this is moral turpitude. What little knowledge of law anybody has, there is no judgment, nothing in hundreds of years of jurisprudence which is equated criminal or civil defamation remotely to moral turpitude. Moral turpitude is a term of art which is limited to issues like rape, kidnapping, or other forms of immorality. I have yet to find a legislature awarding in the statute 2 years maximum punishment for a serious issue of moral turpitude. That's point one. Clear error. And the judge is colored by the fact that he is at pains in repeated paragraphs to show as if this is a death sentence offense, a murder offense. The second point is that in the previous paragraph, he uses the word serious in a manner as to make it sound like a rarest of rare situation, as if it's a death penalty offense. Do you know, Rajdeep, that to the best of my knowledge, there has never, and I repeat, never in the history of defamation been a case of the maximum imposition of 2 years punishment at all in the actual imposition process. But more interestingly, the legislature must be pretty foolish to consider it so serious that they legislated a maximum punishment of 2 years, which incidentally never awarded. And that is the definition of seriousness. And one more thing. The persons who are named in 1.5 sentences by Rahul Gandhi in a 3.5 page speech at Kolar are Mr. Narendra Modi, Mr. Nirav Modi, and one more Modi. None of them have sued. None of them have attempted to show damage or loss. Is it to be believed that a community which is amorphous and undefined, Modi, by the way, it's not one single community. There are Modis, we have given evidence, which are no connection with each other. None. Second, is it possible to believe, Rajdeep, to common sense, forget that you're not a lawyer, etc., that any one of those 10, 13 crore people, Modi, which is an undefined, non-amorphous, non-connected community, one Modi need not be another Modi's connection, can sustain and have locus to sustain a criminal complaint without showing any personal loss or damage when the persons who are named specifically choose not to file anything? And last but not the least, these 10 cases you mentioned, the serial offender phrase you mentioned, Rajdeep, do you know that every case he's an accused? He is not a convict, except this one. And each of those 9 or 10 cases referred to in the judgment repeatedly as if it's a serial offender. He's not a serial offender because he's only an accused. He's not a convict. Each of those are filed by BJP office bearers.
Dr. Singhvi, you're making a very
BJP office bearer.
You're making very persuasive arguments, particularly when you say that in the history of criminal defamation in this country, you've never had a 2-year conviction. Are you suggesting, therefore, that the judges do not know this? All the facts that you're providing before us, the judges do not know, but this is now your second or third attempt. First, of course, the original conviction, and then you've had 2 appeals, Session Court, High Courts. They've been turned down. So what explains it? If you claim you have such a strong case, then clearly...
I appear in the High Court only. I don't know about the lower court.
But the High Court itself.
Delightful sentence to meet your point, Rajdeep, said by the Supreme Court in many cases. An error once perpetuated once, twice or thrice needs even more correction than a single error. So don't be taken in by the thrice. An error is an error. I have given you grounds. I am talking objective. Take, for example, after 66 days, the learned judge delivers judgment today. At 10:30, when the judgment is to be delivered, he says it will come at 2:30 or 3. That's all right. But the only point he mentions in the morning is that there is the additional ground of Veer Savarkar. Did you know, Rajdeep, that the Veer Savarkar point was not pleaded in the reply? It was on the last day when the arguments were concluding that across the bar, a cutting was handed across on Veer Savarkar. But most importantly, did you...
Okay, we align with Abhishek.
Months after the conviction in this case. How is it relevant? How can a judge take account of an extraneous circumstance? And the answer to your question is if you lose 3 times, it means you are wrong, is wrong. Judges can be grievously wrong. I have a right to call the judgment grievously wrong, including all the earlier judgments. And that is why the apex corrective is the Supreme Court.
No, one final word, because you're calling the judgment grievously wrong. Your colleague, Mr. Chidambaram, has gone a step further. He seems to be suggesting, and I quote what Mr. Chidambaram tweeted here, the whole purpose of this defamation case was against Mr. Gandhi, was to disqualify him from Parliament. Everything that followed is an attempt to justify the disqualification. Are you saying that the judges are also now doing what the BJP wants them to do? Is that the charge that he seems to be insinuating?
Look, insinuations, innuendos, etc., interpretations, you have to ask Mr. Chidambaram. I don't think he means that. Certainly, I have not said so anywhere. I had a long 40 press conference today. My point is simple. Have you ever heard of a consequent 8-year disqualification with a maximum sentence of 2 years for a political campaign by BJP office bearers against Mr. Rahul Gandhi, where the named people choose not to sue? Does it sound orchestrated across the board? One BJP chap in Gujarat, one in Jharkhand, one in a third place. And all the 9 cases, other cases, are cases by BJP office bearers. This huge, large Modi community is so enraged and so outraged that only 3 BJP office bearers choose to file.
Okay. Isharo mein, you've said enough, Dr. Singhvi. We leave it there. I do not want to be sued for contempt. But let's leave it there and we'll wait to see how soon you go to the Supreme Court. As early as next week? Are you going to the Supreme Court next week itself?
Well, it'll be very soon, likely. Very soon.
Okay.
Very, very soon.
Okay, let's leave it there. Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, appreciate your joining us here at the top of the news today. As Rahul Gandhi is battling it out in the courts to get a stay on his conviction, which will allow him to contest the next elections, Prime Minister Modi has already hit the ground running. He was today in Chhattisgarh, one of the election-bound states, where he sounded his party's bugle. His target, predictably, the Congress party. Listen in.
जिसने गलत किया है वो बचेगा नहीं। और ये कहने की हिम्मत मैं इसलिए कर रहा हूं क्योंकि मेरे पास जो कुछ भी है वो आपका दिया हुआ है, वो देश का दिया हुआ है। ये लोग मेरे पीछे पड़ेंगे, मेरी कब्र खोदने की धमकी दे देंगे, मेरे खिलाफ साजिशें रचेंगे, लेकिन उन्हें पता नहीं है जो डर जाए वो मोदी नहीं हो सकता। कोल माफिया, सैंड माफिया, लैंड माफिया, न जाने कैसे कैसे माफिया यहां फल फूल रहे हैं। यहां सूबे के मुखिया से लेकर तमाम मंत्रियों और अधिकारियों तक पता नहीं कौन कितने लोग हैं जिन पर घोटाले के गंभीर से गंभीर आरोप लगते रहे। आज छत्तीसगढ़ सरकार कांग्रेस के करप्शन और कुशासन का मॉडल बन चुकी है।
Okay, let's then raise the big questions tonight. Is Rahul Gandhi's political future in the balance? Is injustice being done to Rahul Gandhi as the Congress claims? Is the BJP out to finish Rahul Gandhi politically ahead of the 2024 elections? Will 2024 still be a Modi versus Rahul battle? Will Prime Minister Modi's corruption charges on the opposition stick anymore? Some of the questions that we will raise tonight, joined by Supriya Srinath, the Congress's chief media cell, social media head, Syed Zafar Islam, BJP spokesperson, former MP, and Sanjay Kumar, co-director, Lokniti, CSTS, and cephalogist. Thanks all very much for joining us. Supriya Srinath, to you first, because it's the Congress today which finds itself now with its leadership facing a struggle to get its political career back on track. How do you see it? Is Rahul Gandhi going to play victim card now, go to the people and say, look, even if I don't contest elections, I will continue with my Bharat Jodo Yatras, go to Manipur one day, some other part of the country next. Is that the role now that he perforce will play?
mean, this has been going on for a few months now. Has Rahul Gandhi once played the victim card? Has Rahul Gandhi once said that, you know, I'm going to put it all behind and please give me my membership back? He vacated his house much before he needed to. He's been fighting this government, looking them in the face and asking them questions that perhaps nobody else in the opposition has the gumption to. And he's holding this government accountable for its flaws and its failures. He's going to Manipur, where the Prime Minister has not even visited or named the state. What are we talking about? I mean, Rahul Gandhi is made of a different metal which the BJP doesn't understand. The problem with the BJP is it has gotten so used to intimidating people across the political spectrum that they think they can do it to everybody. You could have done it to a lot of people, but not to Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi looks you in the eye, asks the tough questions, and the reality is, like my senior colleague Dr. Singhvi was saying here, or like Mr. Chidambaram has said, in the last 162 years of Indian Penal Code's existence, there has never ever been a punishment of 2 years for a defamation case.
Are you saying that the Gujarat courts have been fixed? Let me give you a... No, are you saying... No, 1 minute. Are you saying the Gujarat courts have been fixed?
The government... I will say what I'm saying without you putting any words in my mouth or making any insinuations. What I am saying is this was a fixed match. The government went shopping for a case. They wanted some case where Rahul Gandhi could be sentenced for 2 years. This is unprecedented. They found this case. The petitioner himself went and withdrew his stay application after Mr. Gandhi had made that famous speech about Adani and Modi in Parliament, and that's how Rahul Gandhi was disqualified. But guess what? A disqualified MP scares the living daylights out of Mr. Modi to an extent that he has to publicly say he is not scared. He is damn scared of Manipur. He is scared of high prices. He is scared of tomatoes at 160. He is scared of Adani. He is scared of unemployment. And that's exactly what Rahul Gandhi wants to do. He wants to fight the people's battle, and the people of this country will give him justice. I have utmost faith in that.
Those are very strong words. Syed Zafar Islam respond. The Congress says Rahul Gandhi is not playing the victim card. He's simply taking the battle to the BJP, and the BJP wants to fix Rahul Gandhi at all costs ahead of 2024.
First of all, let me give you a very candid answer. As far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, he is neither a threat to Bharatiya Janata Party, for that matter, to our government, or for that matter, to anybody who is connected with NDA. He is an identity which is actually trying to prove something away from the reality. Fact that he has abused a community, a section of the society, and that case has been taken up by one of the member of the community, and something which has been examined.
Sir, a lot of the defamation cases against Rahul Gandhi have been taken by leaders associated with the BJP or workers associated with the BJP. Is there an organized campaign now? Mr. Chidambaram says the BJP is out to ensure that Rahul Gandhi cannot come back to Parliament.
Well, Radeep, if Bharatiya Janata Party, if somebody is in Bharatiya Janata Party, doesn't mean that he cannot take up issue which is important for the community, society, or the section of the society he belongs to. It is something, responsibility is just starting the responsibility as a leader.
No, but in 160 years, there hasn't been a single criminal defamation case that led to 2 years imprisonment. The insinuation from the Congress side seems to be that all of this is fixed. The entire system is rigged, fixed to fix Rahul Gandhi.
You asked this, you posed this question to Supriya. She didn't reply to that, it has been fixed. And if she has to, if the Congress spokesperson has to say, they must say and approach the court that why it has been fixed. Because the fact that the court's observation is important, and that is relevant what we are discussing. The court said that is a serial offender. And that is something which everyone need to take cognizance, that he is a serial offender. He has not only once committed this mistake, but he has been committing this mistake time and again, abusing section of the society, different section of the society, time and again. So it is something which their court has acknowledged, and accordingly that they have fixed the punishment. It is the responsibility of the court, not the responsibility of the Bharatiya Janata Party or for our government to pronounce a judgment. It is the court, and if they are making this statement, they need to respond to the court, and they must approach the Supreme Court. We have no problem. As I said, Rahul Gandhi is not a threat.
Okay, you
to
made
our
that point.
government or for that matter our party. We see him as a very naive politician.
Right. Okay, you made the point.
We see him as somebody somebody who cannot lead his own party, his own leadership, his own people in the party. Then how come he can lead our party? We are not overly concerned about whether he is a member of the parliament or he doesn't become a member of parliament. The fact that he had abused, he has hurt the sentiments of a community, section of the society, they have taken up the case with the judiciary, and the judgment and the punishment has been pronounced by the court, honorable court.
Okay, so you're saying if the Congress wants, okay, you made the point. If the Congress wants to take the fight, please fight it in the court. Supriya Srinath, you're getting very anxious. Yes, respond.
I have a very small point to make, and it actually exposes the ridiculous arguments that the BJP keeps making day in and day out. Rahul Gandhi is a naive politician. He is politically insignificant for them. But every time Rahul Gandhi makes a statement, puts out a 280-word tweet, the living daylights of the BJP is scared. Their top guns come blazing out. Their ministers, some of them are only employed to troll Rahul Gandhi. Some of their relevance is because they can call Rahul Gandhi names. The entire government gets rattled each time Rahul Gandhi makes a statement on policy or politics or holds the government accountable. If he's so insignificant, why do you need to waste your resources? Why do all of you need to come crying and making press conferences and crying foul each time? The reality is that he is one politician across the political spectrum who holds you responsible for what you're responsible for, which is to bring the country, its progress, its prosperity, and the fate of its people to a grinding halt.
Let me respond.
And one more thing I want to say in 10 seconds. This is not about Rahul Gandhi. This is not about this. This is about the many swindlers who swindled money from this country and fled overseas. Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, Vijay Mallya, Sandresas. This government has now been in power for 9 years. You have not been able to bring back not one defaulter who swindled money and fled this country from under your nose. Answer questions on that. And that's the root cause of this. The root cause of this is that Rahul Gandhi is not scared of your agencies. He is not scared of intimidation, and that rattles you.
Okay. Zafar Islam, a quick response to what you just heard.
She is talking about Rahul Gandhi, giving him a lot of credit for raising issues. We are not overly concerned if you put us in the dock, because we are in the government. If you put us in the dock, we are perfectly fine, because that's the responsibility of a government to respond to any question being raised by another opposition leader. But can she tell to the crowd or the people who are watching this program that Rahul Gandhi his name can be proposed to the opposition leaders as a leader of the entire opposition unity, what they are talking about? If he's so big in terms of raising issues, he is, and what Supriya is talking about, that he is the one who's championing all the issues which is being raised by the opposition leaders.
You're asking a question which I'm just taking out of the politicians to Professor Sanjay Kumar. Just a minute. Professor Sanjay Kumar, interesting. You've got the BJP saying if the Congress believes that Rahul Gandhi is the only leader who's taking on the BJP or raising these issues, why don't you make him a leader of the Mahagathbandhan that still is evolving, not yet formed? But what I want to understand from you, wearing your psephologist hat, we've seen 2014 and 19, the BJP successfully made them, particularly 19, into a presidential election, Modi versus who? Do you see Rahul Gandhi's role in 2024 being different? And if it is different, how will it play out in terms of the political optics? Do you believe that if he is not projected as a prime minister candidate, it is an advantage to the opposition? If he is not contesting the elections because he is disqualified, it's an advantage to the opposition that they then don't have to make this election Modi versus Rahul like 2019?
I think the biggest advantage opposition or the Congress can have over Prime Minister Modi or BJP would be in a situation when Rahul Gandhi is disqualified, he cannot contest 2024 election, because if that is the situation, first, BJP will not be able to, fire its gun all the time against Rahul Gandhi. Also, there would be a sympathy, because a lot of people would believe that this is too harsh a judgment on Rahul Gandhi. So I think that's going to be the best scenario for opposition and best scenario for the Congress. But suppose another scenario, Rahul Gandhi gets the relief, he can contest election, and Congress decides or the opposition decides not to project him as the prime ministerial candidate. So that is going to be the second best scenario for opposition and the Congress. Don't project anyone as the face against Prime Minister Modi. Then, BJP would keep asking this question, who is going to be the face? But at least they won't be able to target one person that this is the face and compare Modi with the person who would be projected as the prime ministerial candidate. So that's going to be the second best scenario for Congress and the opposition. I think the worst scenario for the opposition is going to be if they agree on somebody's name, if they come out with one face who could be posed as a challenger to Modi. Because once you start doing that and you turn the election into a presidential mode, that's going to be very, very difficult for opposition, because in one-to-one match, Modi would be rated far superior compared to any other leader by the common citizen of this country. So these are the three scenarios in which I can see how opposition and Congress are going to perform in 2024 elections.
Very interesting from you, Sanjay Kumar, which I come to Supriya Shine, that for all the noise that the Congress is making, saying that the courts, in a way, without saying it directly, you're indirectly hinting that a fixed match is out there. What is Rahul Gandhi's role? Is it simply now not to take up any MPship, not to contest elections, but instead hit the road and take on the BJP? Is that the role that the Congress prefers? You're not saying it openly yet. The Congress is still not saying whether Rahul Gandhi will be their face for 2024, but will his role therefore be very different this time compared to what it was in 2019, given the fact that he's facing these court battles?
Do you understand the gross injustice and unfairness of what has happened for you to even pose this question to me? Do you even understand the very flawed judgment that has first come in from the lower court and upheld by the Gujarat High Court? And I want to put my neck out there and say, this was expected. This was along expected lines. Do you understand the unfairness of it all? I mean, here is a man who's willing to fight the fight that this country needs right now. Here is a man, the Prime Minister does not speak about money for 2 months. He goes to Manipur, he meets people from all communities, he tells them and asks them to give peace a chance. That's the role somebody high up in the government should also be doing. Why are they not doing it? Here is someone who's telling Indians to shun hatred and talk about love. He's talking about nafrat ke bazaar mein mohabbat ki dukaan. Here is someone who's being taken in by Indians as their only hope. Do you understand the gross unfairness of the question that you posed to me?
No, there's nothing unfair. I am saying is Rahul Gandhi. No, ma'am, I am saying, I have discussed the court judgment. I am saying is Rahul Gandhi's role, as Sanjay Kumar pointed out, possibly the best case scenario. Don't project him as your leader, your prime minister. Project him instead, as it appears, some suggest that Rahul Gandhi is someone who's hitting the streets and taking on the system as an anti-establishment hero in a way.
He's an Indian politician. He's not an anti-establishment hero. He's somebody who deeply believes in India, who deeply loves Indians and will fight against injustice that's meted out to them. You want to call him a hero, you want to call him a political leader, you want to call him a Jananayak, you can call him by any name. But Rahul Gandhi is the inspiration for the fight that all of us put in every day, and you can't deny that. So, and I think it has to be left to the Congress party, what and how do we want to project our leadership. But the reality is that Rahul Gandhi is somebody who brings this government down on its knees each time he makes a statement. And that's the reality the BJP can't walk away from. The Prime Minister and this government looks increasingly rattled and baffled because they have questions to answer after 9 years of being in government, questions that they have no answers to.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Supriya Shine on a bit of a roll. Syed Zafar Islam.
Can I just respond?
I will give you 20 seconds to respond. Go ahead.
See, in very shortly, that Mohabbat ki dukaan mein, time and again she is mentioning about Mohabbat ki dukaan, there is no grahak. And if I really understand the way Mr. Sanjay Kumar has analyzed it and summarized, if I have to summarize it, it's very clearly
don't intervene,
empty vessel.
That's where you get it wrong.
Vessel.
They will always be.
Empty, please do not disturb.
No, that's not fair. No heckling. No heckling, ma'am.
I heard you.
Okay,
empty vessels always makes noise, and that is what you are doing.
Okay,
that
empty
is what
vessels.
Mr. Sanjay Kumar summarized it, and nothing will happen because Prime
Okay,
Minister
you
has
made
a lot
your
of
point.
admiration, and Rahul Gandhi, despite making all these allegations, which is absolutely away from reality, will not do anything to his popularity.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that we can have similar discussions in the future also on that issue of Manipur, which remains, of course, an issue which has not been, where there is silence in a way. But I appreciate my guest joining us on the Rahul Gandhi question. Let's turn from the Rahul Gandhi question to the Uniform Civil Code question. Former Vice President Venkaiah Naidu joined the debate today on the Uniform Civil Code. Days after the current Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar also spoke out in support of a UCC, Venkaiah Naidu wrote an article on the need for one civil law in the country. Mr. Naidu has stressed the importance, he says, of the UCC in ensuring gender equality and eradicating prevailing social evils. The UCC has been met by different groups, either opposing or supporting it, from the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, which is opposing it, to Sikh groups, Northeast groups, who are also opposing it. But you've also got support coming in from Pasmanda groups, Pasmanda Muslim groups and others who are saying it's time to discuss these issues. It's time now to head then to my special guest who I spoke to a short while ago. Javed Akhtar wants to dive into the UCC debate. Listen in. Let me understand from you at the very outset, where do you stand on the idea? We'll come to specifics in a moment, but the broad idea of whether India should have a uniform civil code.
Well, in principle, I'll say yes, why not? But you see, there are a lot of practical difficulties. I mean, India is a world in itself. It's not like any average European country where there is one language, one religion, one race, one tradition. India has such a variety and such a range of cultures, subcultures, traditions, customs, that it becomes very difficult to imagine that how we can achieve that. And if we can, wonderful, that's the best thing to happen. But you know, what is happening nowadays is rather strange. You know, there's a proverb in my language, "Soot na kapas kori se lattam latta." So, na soot hai, na kapas hai, and you are fighting with the bunkar, with the weaver. So, abhi kya hai, the first thing which is required to, I think, assuage many fears of different communities or different groups, or to have some people who, like me, would like to support it, have more equipment and argument to defend that, is a draft. In the absence of the draft, I mean, you can only have wild guesses. And that, I think, creates confusion, misunderstandings, and fear. The first thing that should come is a definite draft from the government.
Because, you know, the fact, Javed Bhai, from what you're saying in your opening statements is that you think a uniform civil code, according to you, is desirable, but in a country as plural as India, you're not sure whether it is feasible, as diverse as India. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay, then let's then come one by one.
But then we should not decide that it's not feasible till we don't see the draft.
Okay, so you're saying
there should be a draft. I mean, there are experts who will make the draft. So let's see what they are suggesting.
Okay, so you're saying that the way forward is first at least provide us a draft so that we can debate on a draft, not in the air.
That's true.
But now look at a group with which you've had a sort of long, rather troubled association in terms of the fact you've been a critic of it, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board. Now, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board has already asked Muslims to object to the Uniform Civil Code. They have said the fundamental religious book of Muslims, being the Holy Quran, in the form of religious texts, which are matters of Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution, mandates its believers to follow the injunctions as prescribed therein. Muslims in India will not be agreeable to lose their identity, of which there is a space within the constitutional framework. They seem to suggest a uniform civil code will in a way prevent Muslims from their allegiance to, they believe, the Sharia, to the Quran.
I couldn't disagree. I couldn't disagree more. Each and every word is wrong and inaccurate. First of all, this is not Islamic law. It's a law made by Britishers in 1937. And that was the time when there were a lot of Muslim jagirdars and Muslim zamindars, and they told all these so-called saviors of Islam that come what may, you are not going to put Islamic law in agricultural property. And because according to Quran, the daughter has share in everything, in every kind of property. And the jagirdars and zamindars were not willing to give their agricultural property to their daughters. So very meekly and obediently, all these mullahs and imams and scholars and ulamas accepted that, which is totally anti-Quran. And it's almost 90 years, more or less 90 years. None of them objected on that. None of them has raised voice that this is wrong. None of them. So many people have come in personal law board, so many people have gone because they died, new people came, but none of them said that they should be removed and the daughter should get property share in everything according to their own Quran. We are not suggesting it, it is their own religion, but they did not do it. So again, look at their regressive attitudes, and they are obstinate, regressive, unreasonable people. Let's not give them importance. Let's think in a broad spectrum.
No, so are you saying?
Let me complete.
Yeah, please complete.
They were, fighting hammer and toe. That triple talaq, the instant divorce, should not be removed from Indian
laws.
And the fact is that in most of the Muslim countries, it's a shame for us that even in Pakistan and Bangladesh, the triple talaq is not allowed and was not allowed. But these people were fighting for it and they were saying Islam khatre mein hai, because, and most of the Muslim countries in the world have banned it. It was not allowed there, but they were fighting for it. And what happened that ultimately government imposed it on them and they just kept quiet. And it would have been wonderful if they had done it themselves, because so many women groups, so many moderate Muslims were insisting in last almost 40 years, if not more, that please change it. So to expect any reasonable attitude from these people will be wastage of time. Let's ignore them. They are not the representative. Who has made them the representative of 20 crore Muslims of India? Have they been elected? They have just made a gang and they pretend that they are the sole representative of the Muslim community. They are not. So let's not give them too much importance. India is much bigger than them. We have many other issues. There are many other people. We have to look into RaGa problems. We have to see tribals. We have to see Hindus themselves.
No, I'll come to that in a moment about the question that Hindus also will have to look at when it comes to UCC. But broadly, what you're saying is that the All India Muslim Personal Law Board does not represent all the Muslims of this country. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board, according to you, is wrongly interpreting the Quran and the Sharia, and the All India Muslim Board is essentially a regressive body that does not want women to get gender equality. Am I correct?
I am not saying they are interpreting wrongly. I'm not a scholar. Okay. I'm not a scholar of Islam. But I'm saying that in most of the Muslim countries, this was not allowed when they were fighting for instant divorce. It was not allowed. So have they gone out of the ambit of Islam? If it is so, then please educate me and tell me that all these Muslim countries are no longer Islamic because they have banned instant divorce. I'll believe you because you are the scholars of Islam. I am not. I'm not.
But
so I'm not saying this. But the fact is that as far as the property is concerned, they went against Quran, and till today they don't have the guts because they are not. They are scared of men.
Right. But you see, the reason Javed Akhtar, I started with the All India Muslim Personal Law Board because whether you like it or not, Uniform Civil Code has become, in a way, caught in this Hindu-Muslim binary. Many Hindus seem to believe Uniform Civil Code aayega तो मुसलमानों को सबक सिखाएंगे। वो लोग जो है 2-3 शादियां करते हैं, that will all stop. They will also have to follow the laws of the land. That's how it's almost been pushed over the years, that a uniform civil code will essentially put Muslims in their place, and they will have to follow the laws of rest of India.
Uniform civil code is much bigger than that. Its ambit is much bigger than just bigamy. Of course, if uniform civil code comes, bigamy will not be allowed in any community, whether in Hindu community or Muslim community. So far, let me tell you one thing. It is a kind of a pretension that it is not allowed in Hindu. The condition is that you cannot marry, and if you marry, the only person who can report and fight against it legally is the first wife. Have some common sense. If the first wife would be in the position to go to the court or to the police, the man will not dare to marry again. So that is why, and you see that there is a huge number of Hindus who have 2 wives. Huge number, not ordinary. Many.
But you see, it is.
But bigamy is one thing. Bigamy, of course, if a uniform civil code comes, bigamy will have to be stopped. But now let's go to the tribals. Let's go to the Nagas. What we will do? They have customs of centuries. Are you going to tell them, no, your customs are invalid now? It will become a big problem, social issue. Then within Hindu community, there are Bhaka and Mitakshara, and there are traditions in South which are totally opposite to the tradition of North. I mean, even in marriage, the best marriage that in South India you can have is a girl marrying her maternal uncle. I mean, it is unimaginable for a Punjabi. The idea will be like what you call incest. So, what will you do? You'll ban the marriage with the niece and the uncle in Tamil Nadu, or you'll allow it in Punjab? What will you do? And look at the second marriages. Now, the highest average of second marriages percentage is in tribals. Now, will you tell them, no, you can't do it? There are certain tribes where the tradition is that all the property goes to the youngest daughter. Now, will you tell them that, no, you can't give this property to the youngest daughter? India is not an ordinary country. We are a world in ourselves. To control that, to bring it under one law of marriage, divorce, and virasat, it's inheritance. It's very, very difficult. And you will have to develop a very smart, very sensible, very sensitive draft to assuage everybody's fear. Let's have that draft.
Very interesting views there from Javed Akhtar. You can hear the full interview over the weekend. The interesting point, where is the proposal? We are debating a uniform civil code without even having a draft in place. A chicken and egg situation there. Let's see the draft and then debate it. Let's take a break. When we return, we are coming to our Good News Today story. You're watching the news today. News without the noise. Putting people first. Just look at the queues right across about asking the right questions to those in power. Is money power being used to bring down elected governments? Who will be held accountable for ministerial corruption? It takes no sides. माँ का दर्द एक दर्द कोई नहीं समझ सकता उस दर्द को. It reveals. It heals. Angry people came out on the streets. Is this the kind of justice system we want in this country? News is all heart and no hatred.
बिल्किस बानो आज क्या कहना चाहेंगी आप?
हमारे साथ जो हुआ है किसी के साथ भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
Experience the news. With me, Rajdeep Sardesai, only on India Today.
inequality today. In Delhi, 280. In Mumbai, 36. In Kolkata, 49. In Bangalore, 49. In Chennai, 72. In Hyderabad, 75.
Okay, it's Friday night. Let's end the show ahead of the weekend with a good news today story, which comes from Lucknow, where an NGO in the UP capital is providing employment opportunities to the differently abled. I leave you with that story in the hope that we build a more inclusive, equal society at all times. Thanks for watching. You stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.
At the age of 6, Maqbool's parents left him at an orphanage in Lucknow. Life was a struggle, but he is trying to make the best of it. Today, the 16-year-old who suffers from cerebral palsy is working at a spice factory and earning his living. Arman, Raju and many others here share a similar story.
पीते हैं, हम अचार पीते हैं, हल्दी पीते हैं, डिब्बे में भरते हैं, पैकिंग करते हैं.
This unit, started by the Drishti Samajik Sanstha 2 years ago, provides employment to physically and mentally challenged people above the age of 14. 20 people are currently working here. From grinding and mixing spices to extracting cold-pressed oil to packaging products, they are trained to do everything.
जो भी बच्चे हैं ये माइल्ड कैटेगरी के बच्चे हैं, लाइक जो अपनी एक्टिविटीज़ ऑफ डेली लिविंग कर लेते हैं और हमने जिन्हें इन चीज़ों के लिए ट्रेन किया है. बेसिकली इनकी डेवलपमेंट के लिए है, फिजिकल प्लस मेंटल, और इन्वायरमेंट में साथ में अपने आप को एक बराबर मानने के लिए है. जब हम एक साथ बैठेंगे इन बच्चों को ये नहीं लगेगा लाइक मैं बोल नहीं सकती हूँ, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं जो सामने सुनने बोलने वाला है उसके साथ बैठ नहीं सकती.
The center has employed a special instructor to monitor the progress of the employees.
इन लोग के लिए भी एक जॉब क्रिएट करते हैं कि ये आगे अपने पैरों पे खुद खड़े हो सकें, खुद अर्न कर सकें. तो उसी के अकॉर्डिंग हम लोगों ने ये फैक्ट्री स्टार्ट करी. आप चाहे रॉ मटेरियल की सफाई से लेके पैकिंग तक सभी ये स्पेशल बच्चे ही कर रहे हैं. और प्रोडक्शन उतना ज़्यादा तो नहीं कर पाते हैं, बट कोशिश पूरी करते हैं कि ये लोग खुद मेहनत करके उतनी कोशिश करते हैं कि प्रोडक्शन अपने आप बढ़ा सकें.
Mustard and turmeric for the factory are procured directly from the nearby farmers. While the products are locally sold, the institute is now looking to widen their market. With Shilpi Sen, Bureau Report, India Today.
So how does one log off? Limit yourself to one screen at a time. Spring clean your social media accounts. Use apps to bolster self-control. Don't charge your phone near your bed. Set time boundaries in usage. Use your gadgets thoughtfully. Think about whether you actually need to use your laptop or whether you need to use your phone. Is there any work really, or just using it mindlessly? Do you really need to watch TV, or you'd rather go for a walk or even take a nap, which is actually more relaxing, more refreshing?
If you ask an average person, they'll say, oh, I'm on social media for about 10-15 minutes or maybe a little bit more in there. I'm not typically there. But if they start actually analyzing their time, and there are apps and features available on these gadgets, they then come to realize that I was putting so many hours more.
Prioritizing offline relationships and getting a glimpse of what real life offers brings real joy. Try it.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 36 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 30 and minimum 25 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 32 and minimum 27 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 23 and minimum 21 degrees. Chennai, maximum 36 and minimum 27 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 31 and minimum 22 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today Newsmo. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News.
हमें तो अपनों ने लूटा, गैरों में कहाँ दम था। हमें तो अपनों ने लूटा, गैरों में कहाँ दम था। मेरी पार्टी ही तोड़ी तब जब चुनाव में वक्त कम था। मुझे आपका दर्द समझ में आता है। मुझे आपका दर्द समझ में आता है। अपनों के धोखे से इंसान संभल नहीं पाता है। आप और हम एक जैसे हैं। हम दोनों का बगावत का नाता है। है और भी दुनिया में चाणक्य बड़े अच्छे, है और भी दुनिया में चाणक्य बड़े अच्छे। कहते हैं अमित शाह का अंदाजे बयान और है। कहते हैं अमित शाह का अंदाजे बयान और आधा बढ़ जाए।
Co-powered by the new Kia Seltos, the badass reborn. Extra safe polycab green wire.
...2023's biggest terror expose. The most deadly terror toolkit unraveled. This news break will quake India. Terror tentacles spreading, India beware. The ISIS Files exclusive.
The ISIS Files is our top focus story. The National Investigation Agency probing the Bengaluru cylinder blast case, remember this is a terror attack that took place last year, has unveiled a very sinister Islamic State plot to bleed India. In this India Today exclusive report, this charge sheet has been accessed exclusively by India Today. We bring you details of the Islamic State terror plot, how the conspiracy was hatched. There's a handler called Colonel. How Colonel was out to radicalize not just young Muslim youth, but Muslim youth who were studying either engineering or wanting to study robotics. How they wanted to recruit other young Muslim boys to carry out a series of terror attacks in India. They were being taught to hurl Molotov cocktails, carry out reconnaissance, carry out recce, target marketplaces that have furniture, oil, electronics, and also target places of worship to fan communal tensions in India.
This was the moment when a pressure cooker went off in an auto in Karnataka's Mangaluru in November 2022. What was first believed to be a mishap then turned out to be a sinister terror plot. The cooker bomb, which was meant to be planted at a public place, exploded in a moving auto rickshaw, injuring the main accused, Sharik, who was later arrested. The National Investigating Agency, which carried out an extensive probe, has now unveiled a shocking ISIS terror plot brewing in Karnataka, and the details will shock you. India Today is the only channel to access NIA's supplementary charge sheet, which details the radicalization plot, the ISIS training for terrorists, and the men behind this cooker terror case. The targets: temples and Hindu outfits, and an attempt to spread communal hate across the country. The NIA probe has revealed that 9 accused terrorists were all under the wing of an online handler who went by the name of Colonel. Colonel, who is yet to be identified and tracked down by authorities, used end-to-end encrypted communication platforms to stay in touch with these terrorists and radicalize youngsters. Colonel would share videos on how to assassinate people, how to make petrol bombs, and carry out arson with the recruits. He also shared training videos of ISIS fighters and Islamic preachings on jihad to turn the recruits into assassins and suicide bombers. India Today has also accessed WhatsApp chats between the colonel and one of the accused.
This is called Molotov. Learn how to make it and practice a bit of it. Essential skill for a guerrilla fighter. To begin with, practice throwing bottles and better your aim and throwing skills. At least you should have a couple of arson jobs in your pocket by the time you finish your engineering. Something small like burning a bus or a train or some wooden bridge, etc. It should seem like some miscreant work or accidental fire. It is important you pass through this phase. As work increases, there will be regular operations. Whole of India will become like Kashmir. There will be paramilitary and police everywhere, especially in Muslim areas.
But how did these terror accused fly under the radar for so long? For starters, the accused received funds only in the form of cryptocurrency from the colonel. They used exchanges which did not follow KYC norms. The funds would be sent into crypto wallets of their friends and even far-off acquaintances. They would then collect it and convert it into cash. All 9 terror accused are now behind bars. But here's what's shocking. A deep dive by India Today into their profiles has confirmed that 5 of the 9 terrorists came from a tech background. They were well educated but clearly wanted to use their qualifications to spread terror. These terrorists planned to pursue robotic courses to carry out terror attacks.
I would prefer you work in high-tech industry, something like defense production or petrochemicals or chemicals. You would need a cover in any case, so being in a critical industry would give us an insider knowledge of how to sabotage these industries, which form the backbone of any nation.
The NIA charge sheet has established beyond a doubt that the ISIS is trying hard to spread its terror tentacles across the country, planning multiple attacks and using online jihad to target and radicalize youngsters.
And they have also asked all the accused to get recruited in defense organizations like BL, BHEL, as well as a DRDO. And they were transferring enough money to all these accused to ensure that they execute their terror plot across the country. With Sagaraj reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
I want to tell you a little more about some of these accused. Let's take a look at accused 1 or A1 in this case. His name is Sharik. What more do we know of Sharik? Sharik was part of a conspiracy to carry out a terror attack at sensitive locations in India. He was also tasked to recruit some of the other accused. He was tasked to carry out a reconnaissance, figure out where bombs would be placed, and how to make Molotov cocktails or petrol bombs. Educated young Muslim youth. Let's now talk about A2, Maz Munir Ahmed. Now, this is not intelligence-based information. This is a charge sheet after detailed investigation by India's National Investigation Agency. It's a premier investigation agency. Now, he was tasked to carry out trial bombs, put together an improvised explosive device. In fact, since he's educated, since he has a technical bent of mind, according to investigators, he was tasked to first take internship at a robotics course. And why remotely controlled IEDs and use robotics for the IEDs to be in midst of a crowd and then carry out a blast? Where also figure out how to enter the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, and other such sensitive locations. Also converted cryptocurrency into regular money to carry out the terror projects. Let's now go to accused number 3, Syed Yassin. Syed Yassin, again, now you have the picture put out by National Investigation Agency. Investigations say Syed Yassin is the accused who pieced together some of the raw material, procured raw material to make the IEDs, made these IEDs and conducted trial blasts before the real test. A4 or accused number 4 is Rishan Tajuddin Sheikh. Rishan Tajuddin Sheikh, that man you see on your television screen, according to the National Investigation Agency, converted cryptocurrency, was tasked to arrange funds, and he's the one who gave money. A4 gave money to A2, which is Maz, to procure a scooter. The scooter was to be procured for not just recce, but for a scooter-borne improvised explosive device. Let's now talk about A5, accused number 5, Huzair Farhan Beg. Hussein Farhan Beg, according to NIA, converted cryptocurrency for terror funds. Very, very dangerous activities. He also was tasked to scan for hideouts. Where could people stay to carry out reconnaissance? A6, accused number 6, is Mazin Abdul Rahman. Again, his task, Mazin Abdul Rahman's task, according to National Investigation Agency, was to radicalize youngsters, to bring in youngsters, use social media platforms to, 1, radicalize youth, bring them into the fold of this outfit, and then train them to carry out terror activities. Let's now move forward to A7, accused number 7, Nadeem Ahmed. Now, Nadeem Ahmed K.A., according to the National Investigation Agency, arranged for a location for training and for trial explosives, for the use of explosives in a jungle area. So he organized a trekking camp, jungle survival course. Now this happened in the Kodagu area, helped recruits carry out these trial runs in a forested area. Joining me on the broadcast is Dr. Vikram Singh, former Director General of the Uttar Pradesh Police, somebody who's tracked Islamic State terrorists very closely. Radical Islamist terror is something that he's been battling. Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain, again, one of our best-known security analysts in the country, former Kashmir Corps commander, has de-radicalized a number of youth in the Kashmir Valley, and Saira Shah Halim. And I want to begin by asking you, Saira Shah Halim, when the Prime Minister says, ek haath mein Quran, dusre haath mein computer, Islamic State terrorists seem to be a step ahead. Use that computer education to their advantage for terror attacks. Where are we going wrong in de-radicalizing these elements?
See, radicalization has to be condemned. Now, whoever is radicalizing the youth or is involved in any kind of terrorist organization has to be nabbed, because this kind of terrorist activities will not be tolerated by anybody, cut across whichever spectrum. So I think if the NIA has done its job, if these people have been found guilty, then they deserve to be punished, because India will not tolerate any kind of terrorism or extremism in its soil. It's very, very clear. And I think we should give a very resounding message that anyone who is radicalizing the youth, or anybody who is found guilty in trying to implicate anybody, or trying to put bombs, or whether it's in a pressure cooker or anywhere else, has to be given a very, very stern message that this will not be tolerated. And I think there should be zero tolerance towards
zero tolerance for terror. I completely agree, but I want to get into the mindset not just of those who are radicalizing, but even these elements who are getting radicalized. You live in India and you're out to burn India. General Hasnain, what do you make of this? That these are educated young men who should actually be, taking this country forward. They are the ones who are being tasked to carry out an attack in a temple, at something like a DRDO, any facility that would take this country forward, destroy peace in India.
You need to go back to 2014, when the ISIS came into being. If you remember the kind of importance which was given to information technology and networking. May I remind our audience, 2015 February, a gentleman called Shami Witness, who was caught in Bangalore, He was running the ISIS account from Bangalore for a period of 8 months. The complete social media of the ISIS was being handled from there. That's the kind of importance the ISIS gave information technology. 40,000 fighters from internationally and people from high-end society, well-educated people, were motivated, inspired to come and join ISIS in Iraq and Syria, which was actually something very, very shocking. India was at a lower end at that time, the lower end of targeting at that particular time. But that seems to have dried up. And after the defeat in Mosul in 2018-19, the ISIS went into what is called a network state. It's not in a physical state, but in a network state. The networks once again came to the prime. And was finding most of this is being probably handled from Afghanistan, portions of ungoverned spaces in Pakistan. And may I remind everyone also the Sri Lankan tragedy, April 2019, you remember the connection of the ISIS with Coimbatore. So we have got all these connections in southern India at the moment we are looking at. And it is the better educated that we are looking at people essentially who can get into robotics, for example. Robotics is a domain which is very, very important for those who are planning terror attacks. Because that keeps a terrorist safe for himself and, sort of endangers everyone else around him. So there's no doubt your contention absolutely correct that these are educated people. How have they got radicalized?
Dr. Vikram Singh, this cannot be dealt with, with kid gloves. Such elements need to be weeded out of the system. Imagine he was living amongst all of us and people would say, Are padha likha Musalman hai, he's studying robotics, he's educated, he's doing well. He's the one who's been caught with a pressure cooker bomb that he was going to plant in a temple. Fortunately for the country, that pressure cooker bomb went off in his hands or the nation would have suffered, sir.
Very well articulated, Gaurav ji. And yes, General Ata Hassan Sahab has explained the origin, the genesis and the evolution of the ISIS. It is now more than radicalization and there are unmistakable footprints of the handling of these 9 by the ISI. Because with my experience of handling all of them, there is a handler who is known by some either major or a captain or a colonel, depending upon the seriousness of the operation. And there's a system of cutoff. We have a system of cutoff. One is arranging the logistics, the other is arranging the hideout, the other is arranging the targets, the other is arranging the dry runs. So the baptism part is over. Radicalization happened much earlier. Now it is the wiring of the mind to go in, where to go and how to go about. And that wiring of the mind is being adjusted and monitored by the colonel. The dangerous thing now, Gaurav ji, is to understand the ramifications. They were introduced to robotics. I would say the other 2 disruptive technologies, artificial intelligence and the drone technology also are a cause of concern. But I think that we have it in us to neutralize not only them. And let me also assure you, these are not representatives. General Ata Hasnan Sahab, I salute you. You represent the Muslims of India. Saira Sahiba represents the Muslims of India. These are misguided youth, and I say misguided. Normally, I would have used very harsh word, but yes, they are youngsters. They have been misguided, and radicalization is something like the pandemic. It has to be addressed not only in India but the world over. And
but clearly not with an aspirin. This is that cancer of terror cannot be dealt with. Aspirin has to have harsh chemotherapy if you need to sort this out, if you have to sort out the cancer of terror. But, they're being shown videos of beheading. They are being taught how to behead. They are being taught how to assassinate. They are being taught how to make Molotov cocktails. And Saira Shah Halim, it's almost like a tutorial. And we've played out what that colonel was guiding them according to the National Investigation Agency. Go carry out a Molotov cocktail attack. See how far you can hurl the petrol bomb. It's almost as if they are being graded, marked, and then cleared for the next class, madam. The problem appears to be huge.
Yeah, so firstly, we need to ascertain who the handlers are. because if these handlers are training them to conduct these terrorist activities, those handlers needs to be nabbed first, who are radicalizing the youth and spoiling the future, and in return the country is suffering. All of them, be it the handlers, be it the ones who are perpetuating these crimes, these terrorist activities, they need to be nabbed at the earliest, and we need to send a very strong precedence to the country at large that we will have a zero tolerance towards any kind of radicalization, terrorism, or any kind of extremist activities going on in the country.
General Hasnain, when you read through this charge sheet, the task that the so-called handler, who's identified as a colonel by the NIA, or according to these individuals, A1 to A9, apparently systematically told them to target the economy in their area. Go target a marketplace. Go target a furniture, an area where there's a lot of furniture, where there's a lot of petrol. So that way, they ensure that there's a massive fire, there's loss of life, use incendiary material, and ensure you come out safe. It's almost as if there's military-grade planning where these people are the foot soldiers of the terror plot against India.
You're absolutely right. This is starting small. Choti shuruaat. That is small marketplaces, a scooter bomb here and there. Later you'll find network things like it happened in Mumbai in 1993. 30, 40 blasts at one time. Now, for that, you require an army of trained people who go surreptitiously into these areas and leave behind these bombs in all these kind of places. So this becomes more and more sinister over a period of time.
In fact, since you mentioned the 1993 Mumbai blasts, Dr. Vikram Singh, in that case, whether it was Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar or Tiger Memon or the planters of those bombs, they were actually first taken to Dubai, then from Dubai to Pakistan, where they learned how to make bombs, then back to Dubai, back to India, and then they carried out those horrendous terror attacks. In this case, sir, nobody is being sent to Pakistan. Nobody is going to Dubai. It's happening in the jungles of Kerala, Karnataka, and in those areas where these educated Muslim boys are making bombs, using incendiary material, carrying out these pressure cooker blasts, and God forbid, if they get access to bigger explosives, there would be another 1993 kind of a serial blast situation.
Gauravji, comparison should be between comparables. 1993 is almost history now, and 2022-23 is very different. The information technology and the rogue apps, the encrypted apps, will not require anybody to go to Dubai. You can sit wherever you are, and your mind will be radicalized. Repetition, internalization, and then it becomes habit. And also the incendiary material, how to procure them, how to fabricate bombs, how to make bombs from what ingredients are available in the home kitchen or from the nearby grocer. That is what the technology has given. The negative side of this technology is. Therefore, all the more reason that people have to be alert that the radicalization and the symptoms of radicalizations, one has to be extremely observant and vigilant to see that the youngsters are not privy to any malignant influence.
How do you stop this radicalization? So, Saira Shah Halim, my worry is the handlers may be across the border. Catching them is more difficult. How do you ensure that they don't have an environment here to exploit? How do these youth get de-radicalized? Shouldn't that effort come from within the community? Because anyone talking to them from outside the community may not have the same impact. This is the time for the community to ensure that such elements, one, are weeded out, two, no such elements are created.
See, we've noticed that whenever any terror attack happens, people from across the spectrum, people from the Muslim community, people from the majority community, everybody speaks in one language and they condemn these terrorist activities in unison. So definitely, what happens is when there are terror attacks like that, unfortunately, the entire Muslim community gets a bad name because of the activities of a few radicalized terrorists. And I think it is very, very sad and unfortunate, and the people are kind of feel that they need to write and condemn these activities on the social media, whereas they've got nothing to do, because an average Muslim is busy earning his daily bread. He doesn't, even have this at the back of his or her mind to, commit these crimes, because it's so hard to be a daily laborer, to be a normal, educated working person and come back home and feed the family. That is all they're thinking about. However, these few individuals give a very bad name to the community, and I think not just the Muslim community, everybody, including the majority, minority, everybody needs to speak in one voice and condemn these activities, so that there's a more peaceful environment in the country, and these radical youths are nipped in the bud, the handlers are nipped in the bud.
But for vote bank politics, a lot is said which actually may color the minds of these individuals and these youngsters. So how is it that the political class, and since you wear multiple hats, the political class for once needs to put India first, Saira?
Absolutely. Firstly, like I said, that it's unfortunate that the radicalization, terrorism, and any kind of incitement happens, or in the country, and this is to polarize the voters. This is to gain some kind of mileage during elections, and it's unfortunate that anyone who is making incendiary comments or making spiteful comments or inciting the public, be it a mass leader or be it anybody who's trying to radicalize the youth, it is very, very tragic, because end of the day, election is fought on policy. Election is fought on which political party did what for the people. Election is not fought on religion. However,
and
religion
that is why nobody should give cover fire.
Parties.
No one should give cover fire to such elements, A1 to A9, and the other A1s and A9s that may be there who are out to burn India. And General Hasnain, last comment on the broadcast before I take a break here. Saira Shah Halim, Dr. Vikram Singh and General Sayyadata Hasnain for joining me on this India First special. Many thanks. And also, special thanks to my colleague Sagai Raj for this explosive, exclusive investigative report. A quick break. News and updates continue on India Today. Stay with us.
Armed with facts, she takes the news by its horns.
Do you think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories. From every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Maybe you've succeeded in quitting your regular soda consumption, but diet sodas aren't your alternative. According to some research, your brain responds to artificial sweeteners in a manner similar to how it responds to sugary sweets. Consuming them frequently could make you want more high-calorie food, increasing your risk of weight gain. The same applies to diet sodas. According to a different study, those who are overweight or suffer from obesity who converted to diet sodas were more likely to eat additional calories from food than those who continued to drink regular soda. Actually, individuals who use diet soda have a greater BMI than those who do not. Diet soda can confuse insulin. Your brain normally associates sweet with calories. In the realm of human physiology, that's a good thing. It drives your body to release insulin as sugar's chaperone to the cells to create fuel. In the past, people assumed this process couldn't occur when we consumed artificial sweeteners because calories don't allow the sweet flavor. Diet soda might alter how your brain responds to sweetness. According to studies, those who drink diet soda exhibit increased brain activity in the region of the brain linked to cravings for foods high in fat and sugar. diet soda consumption seems to change the reward center of your brain that detects sweetness. This suggests that diet sodas may alter how your brain responds to urges for meals rich in calories. No soda, no diet soda. Then what should you drink instead?
Any diet drinks are actually not a great thing to have. I would stick to natural stuff, lemonade, sugarcane juice, which is actually better than a diet drink, or coconut water, or fruit infused waters. They're also sweet, but it's just that we are not able to cut down the taste of sugar, and we want something which tastes fizzy and sweet, but actually we are mocking our bodies and completely spoiling our gut health by having diet drinks.
Diet sodas have long been promoted by beverage companies as a healthy alternative to their full sugar drinks, although this is not true medically. With Kshitija Gosavi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello and welcome. You're with us here on Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. Idea Ford stock makes a blockbuster debut on D Street. Investors nearly double their profits as stock lists at a 94% premium on NSE. BTTV tells you whether it makes sense to invest in the company. A strong week for the markets ends with a whimper, with Sensex down 500 points. On the last trading day of the week, Tata Motors hits a record high on strong JLR sales. Ola says its plans are in top gear despite sales of electric two-wheelers plunging in June. Company tells BTTV in an exclusive chat that even after withdrawal of subsidies, EVs still remain the most cost-effective option. It's not just tomato. Rice prices slowly rising to new highs. Global prices already at 11-year high after Modi government's MSP hike. Delay in monsoon rains could deepen the pain. Idea Forge made a blockbuster debut on bourses today, with its stock giving a 93.5% profit on the NSE. Stock listed at 1,300 rupees against its issue price of 672 rupees. The Maharashtra-based drone maker's strong listing is in line with the health